All right, I think we're live, Dan.
We are
Oh,
live. How's it
man.
going?
Dude, it's going very well. It's warming up here. Virginia, I don't know how you're getting it up there, but it's nice out, man.
We've been all over the place this week. We've been 30 degrees midday high. We've been 60 degrees midday high. That's kind of like what our March and Aprils generally are in upstate New York.
Oh, man. That sounds terrible. Anyways,
Yeah.
as I've been hyping you up, man. So you better give these people some knowledge. I'm like, guys, you don't have to listen to me with my terrible disclaimers of I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm inexperienced. I suck at everything. But finally, we have someone that doesn't suck at anything, right? You're pretty good at everything, man.
It's funny because like you're quite new to the scene, right? So it's like that bell curve. Have you ever seen that bell curve where there's like there's somebody here in the middle who's like very angry, and then there's the which I'm not putting you in that side of it, I guess, but there's like the dumb person who has no idea. There's the very intelligent person who knows that they also have no idea. But I think in the middle, there's a lot of people in the middle that like they think they have everything figured out. You're pretty sure that you don't know anything, and I'm sure I know enough to know that I know nothing as well. Like
I like
all
that.
this overconfidence in the middle. If that makes sense. Hopefully, I didn't lose everybody there. But I've kind of graduated to the point where a few years ago, maybe I thought I knew things about the market, but at this point, I'm very confident that I know that I you just can't know anything basically. It's all pretty arbitrary. It's all kind of made up in a lot of regards, and that's at least my take on it. And for the next couple hours, we'll be talking through what I mean by that, I guess.
Yes. All right. So today we're just going to get straight into it, man. Perfect Order came out. And at one point, I saw the booster box going for, oh, there you go. I saw them going for about 197. I think they have since recovered to about 207 ish. What are your thoughts on the launch day so far of Perfect Order?
So I run live streams on Fanatics and eBay, and I've had distribution for 12 years now. Been full time for 5 years, but I'm selling all of mine. All of
Wow.
mine, like I want it all gone. I don't like the set personally. I've got just things telling me internal, like this is a sell. And just for context, I'm at the point where I know that I know nothing. A year ago, for context, I was the same way about Destined. I pretty much sold
Ooh.
down all my Destined. I run the live streams. Like, in my opinion, this is too much for a brand new set. This is going to be in print for a couple years, and I don't want any part of it. So, like, again, context, know that I know nothing, and know that Destined has doubled since I sold almost all my Destined. I have the pallets. I have 4 cases set back. My live streamers have some. Like, I don't have nothing. I don't have
Yeah.
nothing, but, like, I have little. I only have a couple months worth of inventory for the live streamers. But Perfect Order, it's so far very preliminary results. It's kind of dark. I've talked with people who've run live streams selling it for over a week, like going back to the couple weeks ago pre-release window for LGSs. Early data from the live streams, it's dark. I was just live a few hours ago with Alex and Steve and Nostalgianomics. He mentioned that earlier in the week he was doing rips of Perfect Order, and by like midweek, by Wednesday, Ascended Heroes was already out selling Perfect Order. So
That's
like 2 days
crazy.
before release, 2 days before a set came out, one of the other sets is already out selling it again. I had one of my guys earlier today. He was auctioning 9-pack lots, just auctioning them to stimulate sales. Guess what 9 packs of Perfect Order sold for earlier today on our live stream on Fanatics?
I'm going to say MSRP, $45.
$25 sub
Oh.
wholesale. Forget MSRP. Forget $100
Oh.
a booster box. We sold a quarter of a booster box for $27.
Oh.
We only did that a few times. I think the first one went for like 35, one went for like 27. He ended up doing a box. A box went for like 155, 160. So like, I know it's not on the open market, that it's not MSRP, but at least on our channel, when we tried auctioning it, Perfect Order is already sub MSRP in some little niche areas in the space.
I have a question. So is this going on the pallet with your father? I know you like to put one of each set.
Four cases will minimum. That's my rule. I created that rule a couple years ago when the pallets were born, and I'm gonna abide by that rule. But wave one, gone. Wave one, I told my guys, sell it all today. The meme from that movie, sell it. I want it gone. I want it gone, functionally gone by Monday. I think it's going to go. And again, context, 10 months ago, I did a similar thing with Destined, and I've been proven wrong. I just like everything else. I like everything else better than Perfect Order as of right now. I would rather, maybe this is a wild take, but I would rather buy a set like Destined to 80% than buy more Perfect Order currently. I'm just pretty bearish in the short term on it.
Dang, man. I didn't think I'd hear you say that, man. Because, you know, it's interesting because Mega Base, it did pretty well, but then it kind of died out for a while and it definitely recovered. Phantasmal Flames was hot for like 6 days. I swear that was it. Died out. To be fair, there's much better sets. You don't think we'll get to like 220, 230 after like this little downfall, or is you done with it? You don't care at all?
Wave 2 is going to be coming in like a month. Maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe it drifts up a little bit. Like I personally don't get it. Like I'm not going to be a part of that drift up because I'm not going to need it for the streams. I know what Journey did. I know what Mega did. I know what Phantasmal did. And I already have enough data from my own streams, from hearing other people that stream. I already have enough product to get me to Wave 2. And then I'm going to use Wave 2 to set back on the pallets. Even beyond that, like I have more than I need from Wave 2. So I'm personally bearish. In a year from now, it could be double. In a year from now, it could be 400 a box for all I know. But one thing that I'll say to kind of give myself some, let me gain back some favor from the audience who doesn't know the context. So I'm the dummy who was selling Destined 10 months ago at release for 250, 300. Well, what was I buying should be the question that most people ask. Dan, what were you buying when you sold your Destined? I was buying 151 for $9 a pack.
That's a W. That's a W.
A bigger W than holding the Destined would have been. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but like this could go up. But I think the things that I'm gonna buy instead, I think will go up more. And even on that, like I wasn't wrong last time. I was selling Destined to buy 151. This time maybe I'll be wrong, but what are you, Dan? What are you selling Perfect Order to buy? Anything else? I'm buying like I'm buying Sword Shield at 85%. I'm buying Scarlet Violet at 85%. I kind of joked saying that like Destined, I wouldn't love buying at 85%, but if I bought that, I'd probably sell it immediately. But no, give me anything Sword Shield, give me any early Scarlet Violet at 85%, and I think it will outperform in the next year. Perfect Order. I could be wrong though.
I could see that. I could see that for sure. What about Shrouded Fable? That's not early Scarlet Violet, but I'm just curious.
I don't love Shrouded. If somebody had ETB cases of Shrouded and they wanted those gone, I'd pay 85% on those. If I had to pick, if I had to put $5,000 into Shrouded or $5,000 into this, I'd rather have $5,000 in like Shrouded sealed ETB cases.
Dang, it's like worse than ever, man. Oh my god!
And so, some of it is like it's release day. In my mind, this is in print for the next 2.5 years. It is literally the most new set, next set, best set. But early data shows that it's kind of a dud. I think the next set too. I'm terrible with like what's the name of the set?
Chaos Rising.
Ninja Spinner is selling poorly on my streams,
the Japanese. Yeah,
so,
dude, I can't sell that to save my life.
Municus Zero or whatever. Like this sold poorly in Japanese. I was bearish on this when it was coming out from the Japanese data. The next set is fairly bearish. So I would rather buy Ascended. I would rather buy Ascended than this right now because I think that's what's going to happen. On the streams, they're going to want to rip something. Yeah. I think if you have to choose between $10 Ascended, $12 Ascended, whatever it is, and $6, $7 Perfect, I think people are going to choose the Ascended or the Prismatic, pay a little more, and make this. If you make this $5, if you make this $4.50, I think most people are still doubling that and just buying Phantasmal or like buying. That's my take on it. Again, very open to being wrong as I always am, but that's just my take.
I think that's a solid take, man. So, I mean, in my Discord, things I'm seeing on Facebook, Instagram, even if I'm not personally posting them, everybody's like, why would I buy this? I'll just buy Ascended for 120, 125. Nah, I'd rather put all my money in Ascended. That's like the attitude. So it's like, I don't think there can be a crash right now. I mean, I shouldn't say anything's impossible, but I think it's highly unlikely because Ascended Heroes is like protecting everything. So it's like, yeah, Perfect Order's coming out. It's kind of, whatever. And then maybe even Chaos Rising isn't that good. But at the end of the day, they're still focused up, right? Like, how's that Ascended going, though? And that might get us to the next set, which I think is rumored to be a Rayquaza set. But don't quote me on that. That's what I'm hearing.
I try to not engage with spoilers too in depth, but I feel like I've heard that. I feel like that might be a thing. I'm not positive, though. But yeah, I think like this set's fine, but I think the way that people react and overreact to so many different things, and people might, Dan, you're one of the ones that's overreacting to it. It's not that bad. I just think there's going to be some softening, and it's crazy to say it this way. Like, if and when Perfect Order does go sub MSRP, I wouldn't even call that a crash. I think it's kind of lunacy that the market that we live in over these past 16 months, like if a brand new set that's 0 days old, it was just born today.
Yeah.
If this drops 20% in the next 6 months, people will call that a crash. That's not a crash. That's a brand new set becoming available for its intended price. It will be the first time we've seen it in 12, 14, 16 months or whatever. But yeah, to me, that's not a crash at all. But a lot of people that are here, frankly, engaging with this live stream, a lot of people like here in the market today weren't here more than 14 months ago, pre all this mania, pre all this insanity. So yeah,
that's me. That's why I love having you here, because now I get to learn something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when did you get back in exactly? When did you fire all this up?
So the first time was Chilling Reign. Back into it. And it was cool, but I wasn't like heavy into it. I started looking at it, I was like, man, this is real different than what I remember, because my memory is definitely Gen 1, 100%, and then a little bit of Gen 2, but I was getting older, starting to get into high school and stuff. But yeah, looking at Chilling Reign, and I was like, okay, we opened some packs, me and the kid, we got into a little bit of Sword and Shield, nothing crazy. But then, like, Prismatic, my kids were super hype into it, man. And they were on their iPads, and they're like, Dad, look at this. Look at the Umbreon. Look at the God Pack. I was like, what? A God Pack? What's that mean? And $5,000. And there was all these like YouTube shorts. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And, for me, it's been really difficult to relate with my kids. As they get older, they're into Roblox. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have 2.
Okay. I don't know if mine are 7 and 9. But so it's really
5
hard.
and 7.
Okay. So it's really hard. Hard to relate to Roblox, man. Every now and then I'll play it, but it's like a pity thing. Like, I'm not enjoying it. And then, yeah, I'm just being honest, right? And they might do something I like Diablo 2, but they're like, oh, this game sucks. So it's really hard to find something that we enjoy. So it was so cool that we could both enjoy something and actually legitimately have fun, And so at this time, I was staying in a hotel, and I found Nostalgianomics, and I was spending a crap load of money on his rip and ship, man. And it was fun. We were trying to hit the God Pack, the whole family, not my wife, but me and the 2 kids. We're like looking over, and he's pulling out all these packs. We never hit the God Pack or anything, but we were trying, and I was like, this is awesome. And we really fell in love around Prismatic, to be honest.
Yeah. My Roblox, my son's mentioned it a few times. I've kind of steered him away. I've never tried it. I don't know much about it, but Minecraft, my son's actually playing Minecraft earlier tonight. He was playing, and I got into that with him. I had never played it prior. But I started one up, and I started my own hardcore survival world, and I got pretty far in it.
Yeah, I don't even like Minecraft. My son loves it. So, I'll do it, right? Because I'm like, hey, we got to do something together as a family. But so it's nice. Pokemon's definitely that thing for us now. And dude, we're all addicted to open Pokemon, and I got to cut them off, especially my daughter. She looks around. She's like, you have so much Pokemon. So much.
It's expensive.
And I'm like, no. This is for the store. She's like, can we just open one, Appa? Appa means dad in Korean. Please, just one. And I'm like, I guess we can open one more. And then we'll open 7, 10. And I get mad. I'm like, we didn't get anything. We'll just open a couple more. So I got to control that, right?
It's expensive because it's like if one is like 1 ETB, Prismatic, that's a $200 ETB. Like that's a lot of money. I mean, you can have a little family weekend getaway. You can go on a camping trip. You can like have a whole weekend of activities for $200, or you can spend 30 seconds shredding a couple packs each of Prismatic and getting nothing.
100%. And so now we open Japanese on the side, and they love it because they always get a hit, but it's really cheap for me. I'm probably paying, depending on the set, like 70, maybe a good set like 77. So we all get like 10 packs each, and that's pretty awesome, and we have fun doing that. Anyways, Dan, Prismatic Evolution. Listen, I've been watching all your content. Something I've been wondering. What is the current percentage of that going to MSRP in your mind right now?
So it's definitely lower than it was a year ago. The fact that it hasn't gone there yet is making me more likely to be wrong on that call, right? And I've been saying for a bit, I've been yielding some. It's like if one set makes me wrong, it's gonna be Prismatic over any other set, and Destined, I mean, too. But what are the odds that it still gets to like per pack? I feel
Basically
like
50% haircut, man.
I'm gonna come down a lot in what I used to forecast it at. I think probably a year ago I probably forecasted it as like a 90% chance it goes down to MSRP. I'm gonna cut that in half. I'm gonna say like only a 45% chance. People are gonna be like, "How are you giving it that much of a chance?" I'm sure I'm still gonna get that pushback, but for all I know, for all anyone knows, like Prismatic truly could be in print for another 2 full years. And the amount of stuff that can happen in 2 years. I know the last 16 months, all we've done is go up and up and up and up and up. But as quickly as we go up, like it can turn around. And I've been here 12 years. I've been in the hobby for 12 years since XY Phantom Forces, and I haven't left one time since. I've been full-time since 2021. Demand is so fickle, and it can turn on a dime. I was here 5 years ago when most people guaranteeing today that Prismatic won't go down to MSRP. I was here when people were guaranteeing that Vivid Voltage wouldn't. And I know Prismatic is better than Vivid. I know, like, all the thing everyone says, and rip and chips and social media, and I know, but like Pokemon can print a lot of stuff. If and when the S&P drops 40%, I know Bitcoin did drop 40% and nothing really happened. But like, there's so many layers and there's so much uncertainty. I just can't get on board with like these guarantees and this overconfidence, especially if and when it's coming from somebody who's only been around since Prismatic's been out. Like, it's just I can't get on board with that. Too much uncertainty.
I wonder what the long-term effects are, because I don't have any. I am that Prismatic boy, basically, right? I wonder what your opinion is. People don't have price memory. Do you think that's beneficial, or sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad? Like, I won't have that fear. I don't know what it's like to have $3, $2 Crown Zenith packs. So I don't even think about that. Do you think that's sometimes good, sometimes bad?
I'm frankly scared in some regards, because again, like if and when this goes to 120, there will be some individuals, some entities out there that have 50 grand of it that they paid 100 grand for, that have 50 grand of it that they paid 80 grand for. Like, that will be a thing. That happened with Vivid. There were people getting sucked into they didn't have the price memory of every box having been available for, like, MSRP is what we're using as like the threshold. Not only has every box pre-surging been available under MSRP, they've all been available under 100. So like like we always have this conversation of like MSRP. Rudy talks about it. That's not a good price. That's a terrible price, frankly. I've been in the hobby 12 years. The hobby's been around for 30 years. 27 plus of the 30 years, you've been able to buy every set for 60% of MSRP. When I got in, MSRP was 144. There's not a single box that I paid more than $90 for. Every box was available for $89.99 shipped at one point or another on eBay or on Hills or on people like DA Card World or Troll Toad or wherever. So like, I think price memory can sometimes, like a guy like me, I'm kind of on board with like, there's fairly likely never going to be a point where 12 sets at once are below 100 like they have been historically. I can get on board with this time it's different. I can get on board with things are different now. Fully on board with that. Just not to the extent that some people take it. Some people say this time it's different, so we're never going under MSRP. I'm like, whoa, I agree. This time it's different. But like you're shooting it so much higher than I think is appropriate or reasonable. Because again, MSRP was never the thing. 60% of MSRP was like the metric. That's what it was publicly available for, every set. And I think people don't understand that. And this is like a bad set. So when I say every set was available under 100, a set like this historically would have been available for $79.99 shipped on eBay. Chilling Reign was. Fusion Strike was. And going back earlier, EX Dragon Frontiers was. EX Team Rocket Returns was. Like all, and I wasn't here then to be fair, but like if you go on the Wayback Machine, if you look, a lot of those sets, like every set, and again, social media and rip and chips, I'm on board. This time it's different. I just don't think as different as many other people think. And so I apologize in advance for anyone who doesn't know me. I can get really ranty and I can really go on. But to wrap this up is some people's price memory is going to destroy them. They think that MSRP like means something. They think that sets can't go below it. Some people will lose their butts. They'll lose their asses. I think we're allowed to swear here, right? We talked about that a little bit pre-show.
Absolutely.
Some people, like with Vivid, will lose their asses because their only price memory of the past 6-12 months is everything is above MSRP forever, because forever to them is 12 months. But so and it can go both ways to some extent. Some people will say, no, Dan, you've been around too long. Your price memory actually hurts you. Did my price memory in the past 12 months hurt me? Some people would say, Dan, Destined Rivals, your price memory hurt you. That doubled. Well, you know what? Instead of Destined Rivals, I bought 151. My 151 tripled. So did price memory hurt me? Or did I actually outperform because I sold the $250 Modern Box, which was crazy, which still is crazy today, and I bought something better that outperformed? That's my pushback to like the argument that nobody has made, but somebody will make.
Dang, man.
That's the way that I think about it, at least.
Dang, that's a great answer. We did get a super chat. He didn't say anything. Blazo happy. He's just happy that you're here, Dan. See, the people love you, man. Look at that.
Oh, he sent the thank you super sticker.
Oh, thank you, super sticker.
Blazo happy.
Thank you, Blazo happy, man. Yeah, I love listening to you. I love listening to people that really know what they're doing or have done it for a very long amount of time. I kind of relate to like the gym, maybe not the best analogy, but like if I'm trying to get a six-pack, I'm not going to talk to somebody who's like obviously overweight on how to get a six-pack. I'm going to talk to the guy who's got a six-pack, you know? So when I'm trying to consume business content specifically, and definitely investing content, I'm looking at people who are doing this at a very high level, who have been doing this for a while and successfully. I'll listen to other people, you know, people like me that really frankly don't know what we're talking about, or don't even have any kind of distro or knowledge or anything, but that's more for entertainment, you know?
Yep. Yeah. And as you said, like, I'm definitely not the guy to talk to. Never have had a six-pack, never will have one. So don't come to me for that. But it's like cosplay investors. I think that's a very apt analogy, because if there was a channel, and I'm not going to name names here, but like if there was a channel on YouTube, like follow me to get your six-pack abs, and the guy's not wearing a shirt and he's got a beer belly like I do. He's got the dad bod rocking, and you kind of like question that, right? Like this guy, he doesn't have any biceps. He's talking about how to build a six-pack, and I see all the flab, and I see all the jiggle and the wiggle when he turns and moves, and there's a lot of channels out there like that with Pokemon. Right. Cosplay investors, talk versus walk, and I my favorite content to engage in, and there's different areas that I engage in too. But my favorite content is like your Rudy's, your Nostalgianomics, your Eli Pokemart, your Brian Pokemon, the guys that have a lot of skin in the game, guys like Rudy especially that have been here a long time, predating me, TCA Gaming, guys like him, people that are actually doing business at a high level. And yeah, that's definitely something important to consider. But and I followed you for quite a while now. Thank you. Can't engage. We were talking pre-stream, like there's way too much content out there. I can't engage with all of it. But it is interesting to like follow a newer person in the space and hear all their sentiment. And I think sometimes, and this is not towards you in particular, but like I think sometimes hearing from the people that have only known the boom, it's kind of scary, but it's also very intriguing and interesting. Like 5 years ago, I engaged with multiple channels that were guaranteeing Vivid wouldn't go below 300. I couldn't have disagreed with them more, but I think there was value. I think there was value in engaging in their content. And I'm intentionally, consciously trying to engage with content of people that guarantee Destined cannot go below MSRP, that guarantee Prismatic cannot go below MSRP. Because they might ultimately be right on those sets. But at some point, I think they're going to be wrong. And I'm interested to see how they navigate that. And frankly, how people navigated being wrong on Vivid, they either deleted their channel and went away, which I think most of them did, and some of them are around today and nobody cares. Like, it's just over and it's done, and half of them probably forgot that they even made those videos, and they're probably making them again about Prismatic anyways.
Dude, it's funny you say all that, for real, because I get asked a lot. And again, I don't know why people even ask me questions. I say it a million times, and I really mean it. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is just my journey, okay? People will be like, DJ, do you think I have a $50,000 portfolio? Do you think I should sell half and then buy, you know, part of a house and then put some of that money? Why would you ask me that? I'm just a random dude in this little bedroom, you know? Like, I don't know
your situation.
I don't know anything about your situation. But anyways, one of the questions I get asked too is like, what are you going to do when the market gets bad? I'm not going to lie to you. Is that like something I want to happen right now? No. But I think it could actually benefit me in the long run, because at the moment, like, the chance of getting distro is 0 for me, right? Which I don't deserve. Totally understand it. Got it. But if and when that bear run does come and we're deep into it, a year or 2 or whatever, maybe accounts start dropping off. Hey, by the way, I'm DJ's Poke Center. I just did $1 million in sales last year. I don't know if you guys have space. I'd love to sign up. And so I kind of look at that because I'm really in this for a long time. At least I envisioned to be here for a long time. So I'm thinking like the bull run after that, you know, and I'm like, I could position myself much better in a bear run. But obviously right now it's really easy to sell things.
Yeah. And I could be wrong here. I could be entirely wrong. But I think on a long enough timeline, I think it's inevitable. I think distro will open again at some point in the future. But the thing is, the thing, and it's easy to say what you intend to do. And again, I'm not trying to pick on you here, but like what
ahead.
The reality of distro is from 2014 to 2019, I had distro. Couple hype releases, I remember the mythical pin collection from you. That one came out. I paid $8 a piece or $7 a piece, whatever they were. And they went high, and I made money on that. But like every subsequent release, there were 11 pin collections after the mythical Mew pin collection. Most products, I look at my distro and it's like, hey, I can buy all I want of this box at $82.50, $85, whatever it is. And P Football Pete has them on eBay, $89.99 shipped.
Ooh.
I have no means to buy and sell and make any spread. So I think there will be opportunity again, but what that entails is kind of relative darkness. That entails like, are you actually going to go place an order for 20 grand worth of product when you have no channel to sell any of that product? And that's where a rip and ship can help. That's where you can do a little bit of a markup. That's where if you have, like, now you have the website and you have a little bit of a following, how many of the people will stick around? How many people will buy from you for $119.99 when P Football Pete is $104.99, $99.99? Like that's and for some people, like even a guy like Danny Phantom, he talks about it. He sells a lot of his stuff that he gets at wholesale. He sells at MSRP still. He says that, and he knows, like, if and when the market ever turns around, and if and when this stuff ever goes back to normal again, normal being $99, $110, $120 booster boxes, he knows that most people are not going to stick around. He has a name, he has a brand, he has a following, but most people are loyal to the dollar. And frankly, if and when we go back to sub $120 booster boxes again, most people won't even be, it won't be that they'll be leaving you to go buy it from P Football Pete on eBay. They'll be leaving you and the hobby, and they won't be buying from anybody. Because like when the prices go down, people don't want it as much. It's kind of a sad reality. But like when the boxes are 250 at release, people fall over themselves to get it. Everyone wants it. When the boxes are 100 at release, it's just not as big of a thing. When it's there, because of the 12 years that I've been here, the first several years, like, you could just buy as much as you wanted from distro for the first 2 years. Like, hey, the new set just came out. Roaring Skies just came out. And for the next 24 months, it was in stock at your distro for $82.50. And maybe Roaring Skies was a bad one to pick because that one did run the Shaman and it went to $299.99. People guaranteed it would never do X, Y, and Z. And that one went down to $99.99 for 2 years. So again, like I've been through a lot. Maybe to some extent my price memory could harm me. Maybe I don't have as much tested as I should. But again, my pushback would be the things that I'm putting money in otherwise, at least so far. A year, 14 months ago when Prismatic came out, I'm going to buy some. I'm going to have the live streams. But like simultaneously, Prismatic was like 12 while Crown was 5. And I was buying a
Big
lot
difference.
of Crown. Crown's market was 5, and I was buying it for 350 to 4 because people were just churning those Sea and Sky boxes from Costco. So again, like I've missed Prismatic a little bit. I only have 5 ETB cases. I could have had 25 or whatever. But and those doubled, that's great. But the Crown that I bought in place of it, that's done more. The 151 that I bought in place of the Destined Rivals is done more. I've bought other things too that are less than 2x, and I have a lot of different things.
Oh man, dang, knowledge. You see that? You ever seen Ty Lopez? Knowledge.
Yeah.
So Prismatic Evolutions. I'm hearing about the reprints. I know Walmart dropped it yesterday, day before. I was watching a non-TCG video. I believe it's coming. I've seen it for GameStop. I pre-ordered 2 for $150. Not sure if that's going to be a good deal, but I think over the long run, it'll probably be a decent deal. Have you seen allocations? You don't have to tell me what they are, but like, have you seen it pop up for Prismatic? Like, hey, we're selling ETBs or something like that?
So I've been on YouTube for almost 5 years now. I'm not a good YouTuber at all. I had, before I saw any video on YouTube, before I saw anything in Discord, I actually posted it into my Patreon Discord. Let me see if I can find the date that I posted that. My distro called me and he said, hey, Dan, we have confirmed we're getting Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. I posted this at 3:23. Was that Monday? I posted this on Monday in Discord at 10:02 a.m. Prismatic ETB reprint was asked how many I wanted at 99. So I'm fully transparent. But
good.
I was asked how many I wanted, and I said, like, my guy's name is Mike. I'm like, Mike, I'm gonna give you a real number. If you were able to get me this many, I would buy them all. You know that. I've never like skipped on a pre-order. I've always put in real numbers and I've always come through. And he's just like, hit me with it. He knew I was gonna say a number that was way higher. I'm like, I'll take 500. I would take 500. I would buy them all, even if the like. But he's like, I'm not going to get that for all of my accounts together. He kind of chuckled. He laughed. He's like, Dan, I know you're good. I know you're good for it. I know you would pay if you got that many. But he's like, I'm not getting that many for all my accounts. From what it sounded like, I'm probably going to get a couple cases if I'm lucky. I might get 20, but I don't have numbers yet. If I did, I would share them. But I'm getting them at 99 from one of my distros.
Okay, so that's like, who knows the future, but that's kind of the base floor. Worst case scenario, you can't really even buy them for cheaper than 100, right?
Well, that's me. Every distro does it different. So okay. Some distros never go above wholesale. Wholesale on Prismatic, like I think my first wave, like launch wave of Prismatic, I was probably paying 35. I probably pay like 35 for a specially set ETB. Maybe it's a little bit more than that. I'm terrible with all this stuff, but some distros will go like, okay, buy X amount of cases of this other thing. Right now, too, we're booming so hard that like they don't even have the other thing. The other thing used to be battle decks and battle academies. Most distros don't even have those. But really? Some distros, yeah. I mean, my like I have GTS and Mad Al are my 2 distros, and I don't think they have anything in stock. But I know some of the other distros, they account by account, it's different. And some of them don't really go up above wholesale. They just bundle in junk. But it's like, I don't even think they have junk to bundle in at this point. I'm looking at Mad Al right now. Price high to low.
I wonder if it's because one of my friends, he's got a new-ish, like 2 years kind of account. And they keep telling him, we'll get your Pokemon spend up. So maybe that's why they're buying the Battle Decks. But he can't even buy the Battle Decks, kind of like what you mentioned. Like,
that's
so how do I get my Pokemon spend up?
Mad Al right now literally has nothing because they probably have some amount of accounts that are trying to get their spend up. They probably have some amount of accounts that were like, hey, we can get you 1 case of the first partner illustration collection boxes. We can get you 1 case of those if you buy 1 case of these battle decks or whatever, or battle academies they used to be. Building battle stadiums, trainers toolkits. Those used to be all the products that like you'd take to get the good stuff. And now they don't even have the junk to bundle in with the good stuff. So, but yeah, I'm paying 99. Some people might be paying 79. Some people might be paying 49. Like that's me. That's my numbers. That's one guy, one distro. I'd imagine a guy like Rudy, if I'm paying 99, they charge Rudy less. Rudy's an older account with way more than 10 times the annual spend. But I don't know for certain. I would be interested too, like Eli Pokemart. He's a very public guy with a lot of his information, and I wonder what he's getting offered them in like his wholesale program, what he's going to push them out for.
Good question, man. Really good question. But he's Prismatic, super bullish.
Yeah, I like Prismatic, God Pack, Evolutions. I'm on board with like all the same things, but I didn't love it a year ago at 12, and at least per the loose pack pricing, pack pricing, it's flat. I know the ETB cases and the ETBs, a lot of things have gone up a lot, but my primary business is the live streams, the rip and ships. So to me, like packs are packs, and I don't care if they come from poster collections or the pouch collections or the or whatever. But yeah, packs are relatively flat over the last year, actually slightly down. So I'm glad that I didn't have a significant amount of Prismatic, like over what I needed for the live streams.
Definitely, that makes a lot of sense, man. Especially you have to think differently than somebody just sitting there investing and like, I'm going to hold this for 3 to 5 years. You're thinking of this business and the packs. Now, without telling us every little secret, how can someone that's watching and they're like, man, I want to start a rip and ship, but I can't get a lot of inventory. I can't get 1,000 packs or 500 packs. What's something they could do?
So I've never used one. I don't think I ever will or have to or anything, but like there are the notification groups for when some things dropping and you can potentially go get some MSRP when Target or Walmart or Costco or wherever ends up dropping product. Not something that I do, but like that's a potential option. I don't love it because it's not like very sustainable. It's very hit or miss. But put yourself out there. Like every day, whatever market price is for a pack, people are selling individual packs for that on TCG Player. If you put yourself out there in these different Facebook marketplace groups and Discord groups and maybe start up an Instagram and start sharing things on there, start following other people and getting involved in some different communities. But if people are selling on platforms with fees for 100% of market, it's very reasonable that you should be able to buy them for 85, 90% of market. And that doesn't leave a ton of room after fees to run like a rip and ship. But if you can buy at 90% of market, and if you provide a little bit of entertainment, if you provide a little bit of like a show there, I mean, buy them at 90%, mark them up to 110%. You're netting like a 10% margin, hopefully, ish, after your platform fees. It's not like a ton, but I mean, if you can scale that, if you can put on a good show, if you can build a community, I mean, 10% of a really big number can be a pretty big number too, right? So that's an idea. And like I know there's definitely some operations out there today that are less than a year old. They don't have distro. They're kind of like making it work, making it happen. And like it's a model that some are definitely grinding through for sure, like as we speak.
Have you seen Wenzel? I think it's Wenzel TCG.
He's massive on YouTube. Yeah, like his views are nuts.
Dude, I watched him when he had like 15,000 subs. I think it was just last year. No, 2024. It was 2024, like maybe 10 or 15,000. And now I think he's got to be at like well over 300,000 subs. And every one of his videos, I think the views are over 250,000 every live stream.
And he does vertical lives on YouTube for rip and ships. I'm going to his website right now. He sells pretty high, doesn't he?
He does,
like
for sure.
Like
for sure.
His 151 booster bundles are 225. Wow. So he has a first partner booster pack. So I actually have one. I have one on my desk. So he has these. So market on these with Phantasmal and with Mega Evolution is like 50.
Yeah.
So he has just this for 40. So then he has the 2 other packs included as well. Ascended, he's doing 15 on. Like he's built a following, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, like if you're able to buy stuff at 90-ish%, build that markup a little bit. I mean, especially if you're able to rip product for free, like if you're able to do it and enjoy it and have that experience yourself while building a community, while building a brand, while making 2 to 5% margins net or something like that, it's not super sexy, but like it could be the start of something. I mean, you never know where you could potentially take it. And guys like Alex, Nostalgianomics, a couple years ago, he didn't have distro. He has a couple distributors now. He doesn't get any substantial allocations, but he has a couple distributors now, largely because of the YouTube following that he's built.
That's very true. That's good. And I've heard Alex say, I want to say it was for Ascended when it first came out, that he was willing to pay market or whatever it took to just break even on Ascended just to keep the stream alive. And I guess sometimes you do have to do that. I don't know if he still has to do that, but something.
It's funny because like one of my streamers, so I have two guys on Fanatics Live. One's in Connecticut. 2 days before release, he actually sends his dad out to me, and I fill his dad's truck up with my allocation, and then he rips it on release day. But my other guy, Ponga, that's PK in Connecticut. Ponga in Illinois, I get my product on like Wednesday or Thursday. Release is Friday. I can't physically get it to him in any reasonable fashion. So he goes into the open market. He bought boxes of Perfect Order on the open market. Well, he bought, and I'm reimbursing him. I bought boxes through Ponga on the open market at like 200, and I'm paying him to rip it, and I'm paying the platform fees. I am 100% losing money this weekend on Perfect Order. The product that he got, the product that I got for PK, I paid $100 for this through my distro. So this I'm fine on. Not the 9-pack lot that auctioned for 25. That I still lost money on. But that goes into the whole like building and maintaining the brand of having every set at release. And I would rather lose money and have it than Ketchumallcollectibles doesn't have Perfect Order at release. Well, when the next set comes out I'm gonna go to the competitor because they always have it in stock and Dan doesn't. Like, I need to always have it in stock. At least that's the way that I do business.
I don't know how those websites are, but I know YouTube's like an attention thing. Like if you take a week or two off, just forget about you. Just kind of
for sure.
Attention is everything on the internet.
Yep. Definitely an attention economy right now, for sure.
I have a question. More of a problem, and maybe you can solve this for me, Dan.
Let's see what we can do.
Maybe I'm just stressing myself out. So I'll get a decent amount of product, at least for me on my store. You know, maybe I'll get 5 cases of Ascended or whatever. I'm waiting on like 10 right now. Those will all sell out. So I'm just gonna make up an arbitrary number. Let's say I'm paying $1,200 for those cases. Okay, they all sell out super fast. It's great. And then the next day I'm like, okay, I need 10 more, but I can't find 10 more for a decent price, you know? And then I'm like, oh no. And then I look at my journey together, not really selling. I'm sure the Perfect Order is not going to sell. I have cases on the site. Nobody's going to buy that. I get it. But like all the unpopular stuff is just sitting, and then people DMing me like, DJ, when's the next Ascended? When's Ascended? And I'm like, I can't get Ascended that quick. And so then, dude, sometimes I'm just so stressed. I'm just like, where's the Ascended? Where's the Prismatic last year? I'm like, I can't get the best of the best. I can't replace it. And then I might have to wait a week or two. So do you think I should get used to that with like the really popular sets? Or is there a way that maybe one day I could get it more consistent, even the best stuff?
The day that you can get the best stuff consistently is the day that the hobby's down some, right? Like inherently the way that it works, like going back, and I see Angry TCG. I messaged back to them in chat. Dream Joey was one of the accounts. P Football Pete, Dream Joey. There was a couple other ones. They used to have booster boxes at 92 shipped on eBay. And this is when Angry TCG and I used to buy boxes at like 85 a piece. We couldn't ship. If our eBay fees were 0, because he had a bigger account, he paid less through his distro, he had negotiated fees with eBay. So what I'm trying to get at with this is like the day that you have the ability to always have Ascended in stock, Dream Joey, P Football Pete will also have it in stock on eBay for cheaper than you have it. So the reason that you're selling it instantly, presumably, you're probably undercutting eBay to some extent, right?
I don't even look at eBay. I just say, hey, this is 15% for me, you know, and I just sell it.
So you take your cost, you add on your margin, and then...
Right.
Okay. So if you're able to sell for a slight premium to eBay, potentially, maybe you'll be fine. But the biggest concern that I worry about is that the deal seekers, they will likely migrate elsewhere, or they'll migrate out of the hobby entirely when everything is accessible. Because as much as people don't like to hear it, as much as people disagree, I said this 5 years ago. Mind you, go back. I don't delete videos. I don't delete live streams. I guarantee somewhere I have a quote of like vivid voltage. I'm pretty sure it's going to go under MSRP someday. And when it does, less people will want it. And people were really mad at me. People were really angry at me. And then I ended up being right because it lived for multiple years under 100. And again, I think things have changed. I don't see, I could be like the new normal is boxes don't go to 90 for 3 years like they used to. I could see that the new normal is 120 for a few months and then maybe closer to MSRP by the time they rotate out. But what's happening right now will not last forever. It like Pokemon will significantly increase MSRP / distro will significantly increase their markup. They have already. I bought I used to pay in early SV, I used to pay 92 a box if my memory serves me. And now I'm paying 101. I'm paying 101 on Perfect Order when I was paying 92 on like a Twilight Masquerade. And then they've slowly just been upping that since they know that it's free money for us. They're just going to keep eating that margin.
I don't know if I should be happy or sad now.
But
so the answer is I won't be able to, because then the market sucks.
Yeah, like if and when it's fully accessible to you, it will kind of be everywhere, and people won't want it as much. They want it so much right now because presumably it's a combination of like you're giving some amount of a deal, and I always lean towards like on the live streams especially. I think live streams versus a website's different, but I'd rather have everything in stock all the time. If that means certain sets, I need to charge a little bit more, and then you get called a scalper, you get called this, that. I'd rather have it in stock for a price that someone doesn't want to pay than not have it at all. Because it's like if you want it, it's there, especially with a rip and ship. It is different because it's a rip and ship. But I'd rather have it be there and they have the option. If it's not there and they don't have the option, and if they go to Ketchumallcollectibles on Fanatics Live 5 times in a row and I never have Ascended Heroes in stock, they probably quit checking Ketchumallcollectibles on Fanatics Live. If they go to DJ Spooky Center's website 10 times in a row and he doesn't have Ascended Heroes anytime, do they go for an 11th time? I don't know. Maybe they do. If the 11th time there's a chance that it's going to be 10% under market and they're going to get a deal, they'll probably be more likely to keep going. But is that a sustainable model? I don't entirely know. Again, like we're back to the outset of the live stream where I said like the bell curve. I'm at the other end where like I've graduated to knowing that I don't know.
Smart, man. So I did a stream with Retrospecs, I think last week. I forget the exact day.
That was a good one.
And I was asking him, I was like, all my good stuff sells out so fast. He's like, then you're too cheap. And that's something Brian has told me too. I've streamed with him once or twice. So I started raising my prices since last week, and stuff has definitely been sitting a lot more. And one thing that really convinced me that he said, though, I might be butchering what he's saying, but he's like, dude, think about it. People are watching your stream, right? You get 100 plus people every stream, blah, blah, blah. They obviously like you. So, maybe they don't feel like donating that time, like $5 or $10, but instead they'll buy something off your store. They know it's $3 more than eBay. They know it's $5 more, but they're still kind of donating to you, but also receiving something. He's like, dude, just list a couple on there. If it's $1 or $2 more, hey, it keeps it on the store. And so I've tried that now. It's definitely like slowed down the sales, but it seems to be good. At least you come to the store right now. I have 2 packs Ascended, 3 packs, other little things. Maybe not the most desirable stuff, but
yeah, I think going to a store and having completely barren shelves, I don't think that's optimal. So definitely finding some kind of a happy medium. I actually remember that. I listened to that one last week, and from time to time run some kind of a deal. But if you're always giving deals and you're always sold out of everything, that's just that's not super sustainable. I don't think it's not optimal to have just nothing available. But again, like everyone runs their business differently, and I know, look at Danny Fantub. I mentioned him earlier. He's been around for longer than me. He's been around a long time, and bless him, I guess, because he, as far as I know, I think he still sells everything he gets at launch for MSRP. And he knows that someday it's not going to be like that. He knows a lot of the people will go away, but he's still doing his thing. He's still doing his thing. I've just always been like, my opinion is, I don't set the market price. I buy it some percent of market price. I buy it wholesale. I sell it retail. I mark up everything a little bit to where I make my margin. I pay my streamer, and I will always keep everything in stock though.
Smart.
That's
I
my strategy at least.
I have been offered 151 so much in the last 2 weeks. It is not even funny. People trying to offload Blooming Waters, Pokemon Centers. I've denied all of them, man. I feel like it's just so risky. Like I think a Pokemon Center ETB is like 13 to 1500, depending when you look at it. And I'm like, I don't want any part of that on my store to try to maybe squeeze out $100. The bundles, I sold a lot of bundles like late last year, but I just bought another 20 for 150, and I have them I think 180, and they're just sitting. And so I'm like, ooh, like a lot of people, man. I'm not even kidding. Probably 7 to 10 people a week are like, you want to buy all this 151? And I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with it right now.
It's actually good to hear in a way, because a lot of times I say, like, when things go down, people tend to rather want to sell, and when things go up, people tend to want to like buy more oftentimes. But I've bought a fair bit of 151 in the past couple of weeks. It did recently. It recently shot up. Like I don't look at the charts like every week or anything, but in the past 3 months, what is it? More than doubled, right? A lot of the different products, depending on when you're looking at.
I
So
think the
it's
UPC is 900.
yeah. I've probably bought 6 figures of 151 in the past 2 or 3 months. I've been buying a lot of it, but I'm also simultaneously I'm buying it at that 85%, and I'm selling it 90% ish, 95% ish. Sometimes through the live streams, I'm able to get slightly more than that. I'm just always seeking that 10% margin, 10% margin, depending on the product, depending on the future, what I project the future performance of it to be. But that's the way a lot of these products go. Like I was buying 151 for over a year straight. It felt like at like $9 a pack, $8.50 to $10 a pack. It just kind of like plateaued in that range for a while. And then it takes a big leap. Hidden Fates did the same thing several years ago. It's kind of like here, and then it just out of nowhere over a few months, it runs up and it runs to a new plateau. And 151, I could see 151 going a year, 12, 18 months. I could just see it being flat. Could go down, up 20%, either way. But I could see 151 being like a couple years, relatively flat. And then someday you wake up and it's like, something's happening. I can hear something going on. I can hear that. And then 151 will just like elevator up another 50, 70%. Or like Hidden Fates did that in a lot of ways over the past like 6 years.
Yeah. When I look at the chart, it's like this for 151 for most of the products.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I want no part of this. Not saying it's not a great set. Like it's a fantastic set. I'm not arguing that. But I could buy Prismatic and it's kind of like this right now, or like maybe like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, go down a little bit. Like I don't feel that scared. This, oh, I can get burnt, man. I can get fried.
The nice thing is though, like I never stopped buying it. I'll always buy something at some percent. It does come down to like risk tolerance or whatever. But 151, 12 months ago, whatever it was $9 a pack, and now it's 25. I was buying it when it was 15 a pack. I was buying it when it was 18 a pack. And there are times where it was like this, but 18 happened to be here. And then, so it's like, it might run to 30. It might go to 30. Like, I don't know. I have no clue, but I know that if I just keep buying at my percentage and selling at my percentage, there's times where I'll catch this. I'll buy it here and then it will do this. But overall, the long-term average, averaging everything out, like it's served me well. And for the past 12 years, the hobby for my first, I don't know which way I'm going here. The hobby for my first several years was like this. There was just like a gentle tailwind. Everything was trending up over time. And then 2020 was like this. And then and then we're in this again. It's gone on for long enough at this point. The past 14 months has been so crazy that like, even if I give some back, I'm not afraid to give some back. I'm not afraid to have 100 grand too much of some product and then lose 20 or 30 grand on it. As crazy as that is to say, I can mentally allocate like, okay, so the past 14 months, I've made these stupid numbers of gains due to the market tripling and quadrupling and whatever. If I give some back on the tail end, I'm not that afraid of that situation. But everyone's situation is different. So like know your risks and all that stuff. Because if I saw this and I never bought again, I would have missed a lot of things. I would have missed a lot of different things. And it's kind of a meme. It's kind of a scary thing to say. But one joke that I make is like, you can only lose 100% of your money, but you can make like 1,000% on the upside.
I love when you say that.
Yeah. If you invest 10 grand, you can only lose 10 grand, but you could make 100. So, I mean, very scary thing to say. Be cautious out there. Everyone has a budget. Everyone know your limits. But
do you work for the casino, sir?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We got 7. We got a super chat real quick.
Bad. So it is still true. You can only lose what you go into the casino with. But like the issue with the casino is it's inherently negative EV. In Pokemon, if you're kind of savvy and you know what you're doing, and it's kind of like inherently plus EV. If you're able to buy it 80 to 90% and you're able to sell it to 100 to 110%, like it's inherently plus EV. As long as you don't go too big on one thing, on margin especially, you can definitely go bust. And some people did. Some people went bust on $300 Vivid Voltage. I thought some people might go bust on $300 Destined Rivals. I thought some people might go bust on $400 Destined Rivals. They made money. They were rewarded. Scary thing to me, though, is enough times that happening, to me, it's an inevitability. Some set will go sub 150, and some people will have likely bought that set for over 300. And was that with their money? Was that with the credit card issuer's money? And it's going to happen at some point, and it's going to be ugly, but we'll see.
I love your answers, man. Shout out to Skull. He didn't say much. He just clapped, man. People are excited to see you, man. The people love you, man. If you guys,
I'm excited to be here. We're crushing. This is more than I pull on a live stream.
Yeah. So my record,
everyone like and sub while you're here. You've only got a little over a quarter of my sub count, and you've got like more live viewers than I normally have. We got to get that sub count up.
Hey, we got to get that sub count up. We got 41 likes, man. That's disrespectful.
As far as what pack is undervalued, one thing I can guarantee, that sub count is too low. I am bullish on that sub count. Invest in that sub count today by joining that sub count.
It's free 99.
It's free 99. There you go.
Man, I've also made a lot of YouTubes, man. I think it's like my fourth that I've like taken seriously. I started YouTube when I was like 20, 21. Like they were all very different. Like one of them was I lived in Korea. I lived in Korea for like 7 years, like on and off, like back and forth for my job. And so I would just talk about StarCraft. I would like go to events. So I kind of learned a little bit about how to like do YouTube. And then my next one was like DJ Wars 22, which was all about Diablo 2 before all the remastered and stuff. And so I got pretty big there. I got partnered on Twitch, and then I got a Blizzard Entertainment sponsorship. So they would put me on like the Blizzard app. And like every time you open up the Blizzard app, you see me. And then I did DJ Mines before this, crypto. Like I would build the mining rigs and stuff. So I kind of know how to get more people in the viewers. And it's mostly because of Discord. So again, you have a Discord. But like recently I made a Discord, and just for this channel, right? Like my other one has like 3,000 or 5,000 members. But this one, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a free one. And then now I collect all these people here, and then I say, at everyone, we're live right now. And then like, I'll get an extra like 50 people to come that wouldn't have came because they wouldn't have seen the YouTube like notification or something. But yes, Today is our new record. We were at 176. My record without a host before was 151. So you are just.
Wow. We're booming. We're booming.
Awesome. Dude. And another
Love
super chat. Pokegator. 50 likes. Okay. So I heard, I think you were live streaming or maybe it was a video, and you were talking about names. So specifically, Ketchumallcollectibles is 12 syllables, I believe you said. I don't know if it actually is 12, but maybe exaggeration.
I think it said 20 characters or something.
Okay. Maybe you said that.
Ketchumallcollectibles is so long that I can't have that as my username on some websites because it's too long to fit. That's how terrible my branding is.
If you had to change it, which there's no need to, but just out of curiosity, because I'm inquisitive with that, would it be Ketchumall or would it be something else? What do you think?
If I, in my name, my name borders on like Ash Ketchum, could Poke. I know like DJ Poke Center. There's been like waves over the past several years where Trainer Court actually recently, they used to be Poke Court. They got robbed. They went viral on the news. Yeah, that LGS in New York City, they got robbed. They made the news. PokeCourt got robbed at gunpoint, and then they went viral. Pokemon reached out to them with a cease and desist like a week after they were robbed. They're now called the Trainer Court. So like if I was ever forced to change my name, I'd probably just go entirely something different. I don't hate my name or anything. I think it's fine, but in hindsight, like it's way too many letters. I think it's like 20 letters. It doesn't fit as a username on many platforms. So like I'm Ketchumall on some, I'm Ketchumallc on some other ones. I think Pokemon Go, I'm Ketchumallc because Ketchumallcollectibles doesn't even fit. Or maybe I think that's my RuneScape name. But anyways, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with branding. I don't know what I would name myself if I were to rebrand. Maybe I'd be Dan's Poke Center.
There you go. You know what I'm saying? We got another
Dan's Trainer Center.
See, that's how you don't get in trouble. The chef says Diablo 2 is my childhood. So you played RuneScape, not Diablo, huh?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, I had a cousin that played Diablo pretty heavy, but I never got into Diablo myself. RuneScape was my game of choice.
This is what happens, kids, when your parents don't love you. You find escape in RuneScape instead of Diablo. I'm just kidding. Kidding, man. I'm kidding. So the beard.
The beard.
Oh, go ahead.
The beard.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's funny in RuneScape. Like one of the things that I used to enjoy doing was like merching before the grand exchange. Now there's like an exchange, the bid ask spread. You go in and you want to buy lobsters. You just say I want 1,000 lobsters at this price. Years ago, you used to go into the world and you'd be like selling lobsters, 1,000 lobsters at 200 each, buying lobsters, 1,000 lobsters at 180 each. I used to go in RuneScape and like buy and sell and make money. So like predating my time in Pokemon, predating my time buying and selling coins and video games and beer steins and all the different things, I learned how to flip. I learned how to merch like in RuneScape, which
that's cool.
I find funny at least. Yeah, it's I'm very nostalgic for the game, and I got some like business acumen for it. Actually, anyone else who's ever played out there, maybe there's a couple people in chat, but yeah, RuneScape Goat says iFOMO. A lot of scammers in the RuneScape place, so I think I'm better at sniffing out scams in the real world, in the Pokemon world, because of the things that I saw and experienced in RuneScape. Funny enough.
Dang. You know who else says something similar? Asmongold. When he used to like make World of Warcraft content,
I'm familiar with him.
He would talk about how that like, he learned everything in life from World of Warcraft. He'd be like, I learned how stupid people are and how people are, how I scam people and how all this. It just reminded me of that. Mm-hmm. The beard. I get every time I mention you, somebody's like, man, I love that beard, man. What's the status? How are we looking? What's the countdown on that thing?
The beard's probably gonna be gone in the next week or two. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now, and my wife's gonna not be happy if I don't end up doing it because she's not the biggest fan. But it keeps me warm in the upstate New York winters. The snowblower is likely put away for the season. It's probably going soon. It's getting to the point where like it's curling now. It has like a mind of its own. It's going in every direction. And the reason that I have the beard is because I'm lazy. And I don't want to do the clean shaven thing every day. 10 years, I was a chemical engineer. Part of my job, I had to wear a full face respirator. So I had to be clean shaven for my job for a decade. So this is like my rebellion towards that prior decade of the corporate world. And I'm not like growing it forever though. I'm gonna go into summer mode soon, which is like, I take the same trimmers I use on my head. I just do a 2 everywhere. I do a 2 all over, like a 1/4 inch all over.
Okay, so it's not baby face like me. You're still gonna have.
I'm not gonna go down with like shaved gel. I'm not gonna get out the Gillette. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit it with the 2 all over, and then every month or so over the summer, I just hit it with a 2 because I'm a sweater. When I'm outside, this beard way too much. I'm gonna be sweating. I'm gonna be sweating too much.
What do the wife's parents think of the beard? They're like, man, this guy looks homeless, or they're like, man, you look good, Dan.
It's funny. One of my old coworkers, I don't know, my in-laws. My in-laws, I don't know what their thoughts, what if they have any opinions on it. I think they could take it or leave it. I don't think they care. But it's funny you say homeless. I literally got a text earlier from one of my buddies. He's like, I think I saw you at the UCFC game last weekend. UCFC is Utica City Football. For the first time ever, I went to an indoor soccer game. It was a lot of fun. It was almost like soccer meets hockey. They have like power plays, and anyways, it was fun. But he's like, I think I saw you at the UCFC game last weekend. Were you there, or maybe some other homeless looking man? That's literally like an hour before I came on this live stream with you. One of my buddies texted me. It's just funny you say it like that, because I've gotten that comment multiple times lately. It's like, oh, Dan, I thought you were some homeless dude. How's it going? And other people, though, it's funny. Go out in public. The amount of people that I don't know that just like you walk by them in a bar and they're like, nice beard, man. The amount of people that just randomly say that, it's actually hilarious, because it's gotten more common lately.
I feel like if I didn't know you and it was winter and you had a jacket on and you're like, excuse me, sir, I'd be like, oh, here's $1. Take it. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding, man.
That's hilarious. No, it's funny because like over the past 5 years, I've been full-time Pokemon, and every winter I've grown somewhat of a beard, but each subsequent winter I do that final trim a little bit earlier. So I think my final trim was like early October. I think this is like 5 months, 6 months maybe. So I never intend to just let it go for years, but I've definitely pushed the limits on like how late I can do, or sorry, how early I can do my final trim. But yeah, this like it's funny too to watch my YouTube, because like I have 5 years of backlog. I have hundreds of videos and live streams and stuff. If you look at me, you can tell when it's February. Like the video will say 3 years ago, and it's like, is it 2.5 years ago or is it 3 years ago? If my face is like this, it's February or March. If it's trim, it could be any time between April and October. You have a hard time telling. But it's funny, like you can tell what month it is by looking at my YouTube video. Like you won't know what year necessarily, but you can tell the month. Funny enough too, like the background. When I put these shelves and stuff up, there was a progression. So at one point 4 years ago, I was in front of like a drop cloth behind the same wall, and it was like bare studs. And then you saw the sheetrock go on, and then you saw a couple posters. You saw like an uncut sheet that I had, and then one shelf went up. So it's like if you show me a video and I can tell by my facial hair, I can tell the month, and I can tell by what's in my background the year. So that's one take cool that I get out of personally, out of my own videos.
I love that. Did you? I'm trying to think. Somebody in like 2024 had like a red light when they get angry. Was that you?
That's me. I haven't done it in so long.
Where's that, man? What happened to Angry Dan?
It hasn't come out in like 6 months, probably. It's been a while. I can show you. I have the app on my phone. So what I do is I turn this light out. There it goes. It took a second to do it. I turn that light out to make it a little darker. And then I turn that light out and I make it a lot darker.
Oh.
And then I make those red. That's like when Dan's getting riled up, Dan's getting into something. Otherwise, I'm normally my standard blue and orange. I've got the bright, cheery disposition. So I haven't broken that out in a while. I actually have I have a thing I can click on my OBS that's like a transition. It's like my little avatar guy doing that's a little cool. Yeah. I need to be better about using that, because it's funny. Like I haven't used the transition. I haven't turned the lights red in 6 months, but I've probably had 20 red light moments where I should have used the transition.
So for anybody who doesn't know, maybe you've been living under a rock, never heard of Dan. He has, I believe it was an hour-long video, how to start from like day one, I think 12-month plan, right? Like running a Pokemon business. 6 months. 6 months. Yep. So it's like, this is what I do month 1, month 2, month 3. Can you tell somebody a little bit about that?
Yeah. So biggest thing, like I made it an hour-long video. If you want to see that, it's there on my channel. It posted just this past week. But step one is like, if you're doing business in a space, if you're trying to make money in a space, legitimize. Doesn't necessarily need to be an LLC. I'm an LLC with an S corp election, but get a DBA, become a sole proprietor, get your EIN, get your reseller certificate. I know I'm throwing a lot of acronyms at you. DBA, doing business as, some places call it a fictitious name. Get a separate bank account for your business actions. Don't be buying your groceries, buying your kids' diapers, and then buying stuff you're going to be reselling. Because when you go to do your bookkeeping for taxes, it's a nightmare if it's all combined. And I say all this coming from experience. I didn't do it in Pokemon because Pokemon I started 2014, but in 2011 I was selling coins. And my first year doing taxes as a coin reseller, I did 6 figures of coin sales.
Wow.
I made like 5 figures net. And silver, there was actually a bubble in 2011 where silver price went up to $50 an ounce. But I got hit with that 1099. I panicked. Me talking with my accountant, trying to untangle all my personal expenses with my business expenses. He's like, Dan, you need to get a separate bank account. You need to get a separate credit card, separate all this stuff. So that's always like, I made that mistake. Don't make that mistake. A lot of people do, but get a separate credit card, separate bank account. I always say, like, try everything. In my 12 years, I've done bulk. I've live streamed. I've sold on eBay. I've sold on TCG Player. I've consigned with all the various consignment operations. I've graded with PSA, with BGS, with CGC. I've done a little bit of everything. I've vended. I've gone to shows as just a buyer. I've done a little bit of everything, and certain things I loved, certain things I hated. Steer away from the things you hate, steer into the things you love. Certain things I suck at, certain things I can't make money in, certain things I excel at. I'm really good at certain things. The only reason that I know is because I did them. I did them and I failed, and I got up and dusted myself off, and I learned. And try a little bit of everything. All the things they say, all the cheesy things like fail forward, and nothing more powerful than learning. Nothing more powerful in learning than making the mistake yourself. But certain ones, like if I can serve as the one who made the mistake for you, allow me to be that to you. Allow me to be like, I made this mistake. Don't do this one. Don't intermingle your business and your personal transactions, because it's a nightmare. So that's like a 3-minute breakdown of the 60-minute video. And I go into extreme depth, though, in that video, obviously, turning it into 60 minutes.
It was a great video, man. I watched it 1.5 times so far. Maybe I'll finish watching the second time. So you mentioned something there. People can learn from like your mistakes. And I learned some things from you. Absolutely. Definitely Brian as well, because he's kind of doing, well, he's Japanese more, but kind of doing what I do. And he says the same thing, dude. Like you can watch tons of his failures and stuff, and you don't have to make those same mistakes. And who knows how many other content creators, man. I found content creators that have like 300 subs, 500 subs. They gave me information that Brian didn't give me. And I'm like, oh man, I never thought of that. And there's so many ideas, man. Like the power of YouTube. You could just consume content for a couple weeks, maybe even a month, and just learn so much real fast.
Absolutely. That was part of like step 0. That was part of month 1 too. What was like going out and consuming a lot of content. Don't blindly follow anybody. Please, anybody out there right now, don't blindly follow DJ's Poke Center. Don't copy everything he's doing. Hear what he's doing. Listen to the reasoning behind why he's doing it. And then determine what you agree with, determine what you disagree with. There should be nobody out there that you 100% agree with. I made this joke in my video, like, I barely 100% agree with what I do. Sometimes I go and I make a 20K buy, and then the next day I wake up and I'm like, was that really the right decision? Would I have made that today? So it's like, I barely agree 100% with myself. There's not anyone you should 100% blindly follow. Take bits and pieces you like from everybody. Copy this guy's work a little bit, copy that guy's work a little bit, copy this gal's work a little bit, combine it all and create your own thesis and create your own action plan, and then set goals and put it all into motion. And that's I'm big on like taking action, doing something. We're booming like many people. Some people have only known the boom, and this is not, I promise, having been here 12 years, it's not always like this. It will calm down at some point, but while this is going on, take advantage. Try a little bit of everything. See what works, see what you enjoy, and then lean in heavily to those things. One thing that I enjoy that works well too, building the brand, building the name, building relationships. I love being on live streams. That's why I'm on the 4th one in as many days.
What a legend. If y'all didn't know,
sorry.
It was
4th one in 3 days. 4th one in 3 days.
That's fantastic, man. If y'all didn't know, Dan was streaming earlier today with Nostalgianomics and Steve, right?
Yep, tactical trading. Yep.
Tactical trading just a few hours ago, y'all. I mean, talk about a legend here. This guy's got stamina for days, man.
We're on that grind. I work at home, solo business, so it's like I don't have the water cooler talk. I don't have the lunch table talk. So that's what this is for me. It's much needed therapy, I guess, for myself.
I love that, man. So, something when I watched your content, fence sitting, Dan. Are you a
I'm
fence
a fence
sitter?
sitter.
And if you are, is it because you're scared to get canceled? Is it because you've lived through some negative times? What is it?
So I'll tell you exactly what it is. It is what I said at the outset. So a lot of people, and I 3 hours ago, oh no, sorry, 3 hours before this live stream, I guess 5 hours ago ish, I got into a good rant with this on Steve's channel earlier. But like a lot of people are very binary. A lot of people are like product good or product bad. I'm always like the world is not black or white. The world, everything exists in the shades of gray. The shades of gray in the middle. I think there's more than 50 of them. 50 shades of gray. I think that's a thing. And there's more than 50 shades of gray. But like all most of life exists in those shades of gray. And whether you want to call it the gray area or on the fence, like I'm on the fence on everything because multiple reasons. One is like there's a lot of uncertainty. Things could go up, could go down. That's part of where I get called the fence sitter. But then people say like, Dan, should I buy Evolving Skies? And it's like, it depends. Oh, it depends. Dan, why are you on the fence? Say yes or say no. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I don't know your cost. I don't know if you're paying sales tax on an item intended for resale. Another thing I said in my video to not do. So like it always depends. I think all the interesting conversations in life happen in the nuance, happen in the gray area. And I was ranting earlier. Like Alex made a video years ago about how he was not buying. He was not buying Charizard UPC because it was bad. It was 180. It was 200. It was bad, and I agreed. I was making content at the time too, and I was selling my Charizard UPCs because in my opinion they were bad. They were 200. Well, a lot of people take that to like, okay, Dan said UPC bad, sell. Alex said UPC bad, sell. Well, things change. It's not like a binary world. It's not black white. It's gray. And you know what happened over the subsequent 6 months? The Charizard UPC fell from 180 to 90. Well, wow. It's the same product. So if you're in that binary black white mode of thinking, you still have Dan said UPC bad, bad. Alex said UPC bad, bad. Sell, sell. Well, things changed. People called Alex a flip-flopper. People are so weird. It's like, no. Like, if and when this goes to 100, that's a different story. I'll start buying if this goes to 100. People will call me a flip-flopper, but Dan, you said Perfect Order was bad. It was the day of release, and it was 200. If in a year it's 100, I'll buy 40 cases of it. I'll buy a lot of it. People get caught up in like something needs to be good or bad. Something needs to be buy or sell. Something needs to be what is the best. It depends. It always depends. I'm on the fence because I'm taking into account all the uncertainty, all the different scenarios. And again, for some people, buying Destined at $250 a year ago for some people was the best play. I've done consultations with doctors and lawyers who buy Pokemon as an investment.
Wow.
And so like I've had consultations probably a year ago. Well, 10 months ago. 10 months ago. Destined isn't even a year old. I've had consultations with simultaneously while I was saying I was selling all mine. I've done consultations with people, high net worth individuals that make a lot of money. They don't have time to consume 30 hours of PokeTube a week. They don't have time to run a Pokemon side hustle. They make 800 grand a year in their job. Their time horizon is 10 years. Dan, I want to buy Destined Rivals at some point. My time horizon is 10 years. I tell them like, hey, I'm selling mine and this is why. But if you truly are going to hold it that long, do I think this at 200, if you're holding it 10 years, is horrible? I don't love it. There's things that I would like more, but that's a completely different conversation relative to what I'm doing as a business. So like when I say it depends, people call that fence sitting, but like it truly does depend. Like what I'm saying is the correct answer because everyone's situation is different. So yeah, if you're a doctor out there making 500 grand a year and you only have 2 hours a week to engage with Pokemon and you want to just go on and buy 20 cases of this to put on your shelf, it's probably a reasonable buy. If and when it goes to 100, if and when it goes to 150, buy a little bit more. Who cares? You're holding it for 10 years anyways. But everyone's situation is different. If you're a newly budding Pokemon business and you have 25 grand of working capital and you want to start a rip and ship and you want to go vend, and do I think buying this at 200 is a good investment when you only have 25K cash flow? I think it's a horrible investment because it's going to handicap your capital. It's going to tie up. Like if you go put 10 grand, 12 and a half grand of your 25 grand into this, sure, in 10 years, it might be triple, it might be more. But like today, you're going to get offered a collection for 20 grand and you're going to have to say no because you spent half your cash flow on this and now your hands are tied and you don't have any money to do business. So that's something I said in my video too. If you're in your first 6 months and you're starting up and you have limited capital, investing too early, too much, if at all, is a lot of people handicap themselves severely by investing at all too early, in my opinion, at least, because even with Destin doubling over a year, if your starting capital was 5 grand and you have 50 hours a week to engage in Pokemon, I think you could have outperformed buying 5 grand of Destined and turning it into 10K if you had 5 grand to buy, sell, stream, vend, hustle, grade. Like you would have crushed turning 5K into 10K, right? Like doubling your money over a year would have been horrific if you had all that time. So again, nuance, gray area. The fence is where we all should be. It's great up here. Grab a seat next to me on the fence. There's plenty of room up on the fence.
We got to try the fence thing. You know what's funny about YouTube, man? I don't know if you experienced this, but I'll give disclaimers like, hey, do not listen to anything I'm about to say. This is purely entertainment. I genuinely mean these things. They don't hear any of it. They go, la, 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 la. I think you should get Prismatic. You see, you said get Prismatic. You said get Prismatic, and it's only got up 40% for the year. You suck. You know, stuff like that.
And it's funny because like sometimes people push back, like, Dan, you're giving way too many disclaimers. Dan, like, stop, we don't care. And I feel the need to, even though some people will not listen to it. I still feel the need to. I always tell people like this is a documentary of one guy's journey. I have a lot of experience. I think I have a fair bit of knowledge, and I think I overall like have a pretty good track record of making a lot of decent plays. But all that said, I'm one guy with one set of goals, with one set of rules. This is a thing you've probably heard me say it 20 times. You'll probably hear me say it a lot more than that too in the future. We're all in the same arena. The arena is Pokemon, but not only we're playing different games, and we're playing by different rules entirely. So in this arena of Pokemon, some people will turn on Dan Ketchumallcollectibles, and I'll say, hey, like, as we speak, I see some DMs. I'm not looking at them because we're live, but I always have Discord open over there. I am actively, as we speak, I am buying 1,000-ish. These first partner collection.
Really?
1,000. 1,000 is what I want to buy at like 47, 48 bucks a piece. If people hear me say that, some people will go out there and like they'll hear that I'm buying them and they'll go buy them. And it's like it matters a little bit. One, my finances, they're different. Everyone's finances are different. And then two, like I'm not buying 1,000 to set back and never touch ever again. I'm doing multiple things. So Dan, why are you buying 1,000? I'll probably grade in a perfect world. If I get 1,000, you get 3 of each. So in a perfect world, I would have 3,000 total of these, and there's 9 of them. So I'd have well, I'm probably not going to break them all down. So I'm probably going to set back half of them. I'd like to set back 500 of these packs sealed. But the other 500, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make the 500 that I keep sealed free. I'm going to send some to PSA. I'm going to send some to BGS. I'm going to send some to CGC. And I'm going to try to make the 500 that I set back for the longer term free. And there's risk. I could end up being too slow to market, and I could end up getting burned. I could get bad grades, and I could lose money. I could make the 500 that I set back even more expensive, and the product could go down 50%. Like I know all these risks, and I'm prepared to weather the storm on the potential risks. But somebody just blindly following me, not knowing what I'm doing, Dan's buying 1,000, I'm going to go buy 100, and I'm going to set them back in my closet and never touch them again. It's just not wise. It's not wise to blindly follow someone. And even if you stay tuned and you hear my whole plan and you watch all my follow-up videos and you know that my grading misses are immediately going to the live streams, and I'm probably going to make money selling the grading misses, like out of the gate, because some of the prices are silly at launch. But yeah, just hearing what one guy's doing, blindly following without the context, and mind you too, some people that I'm buying them at, well, $47.50 is what I publicly offered. That's like 95% of market, 90 to 95% of market.
That's really strong.
But some people imitating, some people blindly following, some of those people are going to go on eBay and pay 52 plus tax. And it's like they're paying 110% of market. So you're already 15%, 20% behind me off the rip. So if I'm putting 50 grand in or whatever, I'm getting 20% more than you're getting with your $500 or 50 grand or 5 grand or whatever it is. So always just know my situation, know your situation, and have your own thesis. And so some people out there are probably convinced that the sealed box, I don't have a sealed box. We opened it already, but some people might think that's going to drop to 25 or whatever. And it could. I got 100 of these already in my allocation. Wholesale cost on these was like $8.50 or $9.
Wow, that's really good.
Now this with 2 packs, with a pack of prismatic. So know what the floor is, right? So we were talking about prismatic. I'm getting new prismatic at 99 in ETB. Yeah. I got these. The things that I'm publicly buying 1,000 of for 47 a piece. That's 500% of my wholesale cost. So know the risks. Don't blindly follow. Know my situation. Know your situation. All that stuff.
Man, have you seen the price of the new Gengar from GameStop? Just came out today.
I haven't. No, I don't even know. It's like a GameStop exclusive.
I saw averaging about $90 a day. I mean, $90 per. The highest I saw was about 100, 110. This just came out today from GameStop. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these little promos. I think it's not a very cool promo, but the hype's there, and it's selling really strong.
I hadn't seen that, no. Interesting.
Wonder if people are going to make a play on them.
And that's the kind of thing that, like, you got to be careful because, and an interesting comparison is like the gray felt hat. So the gray felt hats, I remember a couple years, whenever they even came out, I forget. I was at a show, and I remember that I had some that I bought around 100 or whatever, and I think they kind of went down. My memory's terrible. Maybe I bought them 60 to 80, and then I went to a show, and there were some guys from the Netherlands that had hundreds of them, and I'm like, these are gonna flood everywhere, and they're gonna go crazy. And then they were available like on the ground floor that day for like $50 a piece. I'm like, these are gonna go down to 20. When they go to 20, I'm gonna buy 3,000 of them. Never got anywhere near there. I ended up buying a case of them. I bought 400 of them, partnered with a buddy, but we bought them at like 125 a piece later on after I realized that my thesis was wrong on that. But a promo like that, the Gengar, nobody knows how many they printed. There could be a random GameStop employee that has a case of 3,000 of them. Yeah. That's going to just dump them on the market. Well, like things like that, very, very risky. Know your downside, but then the potential upside too. If I get some of the first to market CGC pristines, if I get one of the first to market black labels, the full art, like I mean, obviously the Kanto Trio is best, but like connected artwork, exclusive artwork, I like they are in Chinese too, so they're not like they're English exclusive, but exclusive to the product. I like a lot of things about them, and I want to have a lot of them. So yeah, I think they're gonna age well over time. And this is another thing too. Everyone's at a different level and different point in their journey. I'm trying to buy 1,000 of the sealed products like today. If and when they go to 25, if and when they go to 30, I'm gonna buy 1,000 more. I'm gonna buy 2,000 more. Like
Are you talking
a
about the
lot
four
of people,
partner 3-pack or?
yeah. So a lot of people say that, but a lot of people don't mean that. I mean that. I've been around, like, I truly mean that. A lot of people will say they mean that. I've said that before, and it's happened, and then I've done it. But yeah, just I never go all in. Like me buying 1,000 of those is not me going all in. If and when they go down significantly from there, I will buy a lot more. And I always like to go that way. It's like, well, Dan, like if you're right and it goes up a lot, you will have wish you bought 2,000. Absolutely. I'm never gonna be like the biggest winner on anything. I'm never gonna be the biggest loser on anything either, though.
What percentage, maybe you can lie to us to not give us the real number, of your net worth do you think you take on plays like that? Or of the business
Um,
net worth or something?
so that's interesting. I think relative to net worth is less interesting, frankly, than like of my active working cash flow.
Okay.
If that's a reasonable substitution.
That's good.
So my liquidity goals at any given time are like 100 to 200 grand. So doing the math quickly, it's like I'm offering 47.50 on these. I want to buy 1,000, and I'm holding this up because it's all I have. But like I want the whole thing. I want the whole thing. This that comes with the 2 packs. I want the Phantasmal and the Mega Evolution. But so that's a quarter of my current working capital. I'm trying to deploy a quarter of my current working capital, but context, like again, same arena, different games, different rules. Part of me in the back of my mind knows tomorrow night on Fanatics, one of my streamers, one of my guys, we're doing a mega stream where PK tomorrow night on Fanatics is going to sell 100K. So he has
Ooh.
100K of inventory. Like I know that Monday or Tuesday, I have landing in my bank account the proceeds from $100,000 live stream. So like some of the liquidity that I have in my bank today, I'm mentally accounting for the deposit that's coming next week from the live stream. But it's a big machine. There's a lot of moving parts. So yeah, I again, if maybe a better question too is like 12 years ago, Dan, you started with I started with 5 grand. How many of these would I be buying if I had 5 grand and it was day one and I was just starting? Say I had all my knowledge, I might only buy $500 worth. I might buy 10%, and you know how many it would be set back for the long term? Zero. I would invest
Zero. Oh, okay.
zero. I would collect zero of them. I would buy maybe $500 worth. I'd try to buy 10, and I'd try to do some of the grading. I try to make that margin. So I'd allocate like 10% of my capital at the time. But these days I'm allocating a little bit more. But in the back of my mind too, like it's part of a much bigger machine at this point. So I'm comfortable going a little bit further out on the risk curve, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense, man. Hearing you, same with retrospects. I don't know you guys' exact scale, but like it's crazy for me. I don't know if it is for the viewers to hear. I'm buying 1,000 of something. I'm buying 500. I'm buying 2,000. For me, I'm like, wow.
That's how much of this stuff there is out there.
That's crazy to just hear those numbers, and then that's just a play, right? Like you're gonna sell them or grade them or then sell them or whatever, and it's on to the next one. And it's just the level of scale is just so different.
And Retro is very public with his numbers. I'm very public with my numbers as well. Last year at GMV, total gross sales across all platforms, that counts consignments too. I did like 9.3 or 9.8 million or somewhere in there, somewhere between 9 and 10. I know Retro is public with his too. We're both in the same vicinity. He did a little bit over 10, I believe. So we're both at that like right on the border of like 8-figure territory. And so if you look at it from that respect, I will do more this year than I did last year. So I'll probably be closer to the 12 to 15-ish territory. So I'm allocating 50K of my, I guess the 50K buy though, if all goes well, could turn into 100K plus GMV, right? Like 100K on 10 million. I mean, 100K on a million is 10%. That might only be 1% of my GMV for the year. If the play goes
GMV
well,
is gross.
Yeah, gross market value of my sales. So yeah, if I do 15 million in total sales this year, which I might across everything, if I buy 50 grand in this and say I sell half of it for getting my money back, if I get that 50 grand back, 50 grand on 10 million, 50 grand on 15 million. That's only a fraction. Like that's, well, 1% of 15 million would be 150K. So yeah, that's less than 1% of my GMV for the year coming from this one play, which is crazy. A
It's crazy to
thousand
think about,
units
man.
is going to ultimately be 1% ish, less than 1% of my GMV for the year. Kind of nuts.
Question, being facetious, but I want to know. You ever feel bad for them kids that can't get all those packs because you bought them all up?
Hey, the kids can buy them all. I mean, they're going to be available on Fanatics Live. They're going to be available on eBay Live. They're going to be available everywhere. So the kids could definitely buy them. But no, I think eventually, as I said, I think it is inevitable. I think that this product will be on the shelf someday. Will it be Destined? Will it be Prismatic? Will it be Perfect Order? Will it be, what does Brian say? Dragon Ascension, this theoretical future set. Will it be Mega Evolution, Dragon Ascension? I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know why exactly. But someday things will become available again. I think it's actually required. I truly do think that there's damage being done. And to be fair, I'm part of that damage being done, right? Some amount of the product that I'm buying, I'm like, if and when I do get 1,000 units of this product, that's coming from botters. I'm not the one doing the botting. I'm one step removed from all the immoral, yucky stuff. But I'm aware that I'm part of the problem. But that's what capitalism is. I didn't create the rules. I'm just playing the game. So yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game. All that stuff that people say, like it's it's capitalism. If and when I choose to not participate, if I'm gonna be I'm not buying anything above MSRP, like right. I'm not gonna do business. Like if and when I allowed price memory to harm me in a bad way, I would say I'm not going to engage in the secondary market of any of this. I would say to my distro, screw you, buzz off with that $99 Prismatic Evolutions reprint you were offering me while current market is $200. But yeah, I didn't make the rules. I am not setting the prices. I'm just engaging with the market at the prices that we've all set cumulatively.
That's very well said, man. How much would you say luck versus skill in your success? Like, you joined at a certain time. I've heard this on different other types of YouTubes, not really Pokemon, but like they'll argue this. Yep. Like you joined during this crazy boom and got in early before everybody else. Luck versus skill. Do you think that could be replicated now?
I think it's easier today to start a business. I'm confident. Like it took me 12 years to get to nearly 8 figures. I think it'll be my 13th year engaging in Pokemon, my 6th year full time, until I get to 8 figures. Retro hasn't been around that long. Retro did it way quicker. Someone starting today, I don't know how many years it took Retro to get there, but how many years it took Retro to get to 7 figures, how many years it took him to get to 8 figures. He beat me on both 7-figure and 8-figure race. Someone starting today, there are people that haven't started yet that will beat Retro to 7 figures and to 8 figures because the market's so much bigger, the liquidity is so much deeper. It's so much easier today in every metric. Some people will look back 12 years ago, Dan, you could buy Evolutions for $80. Well, you know what? I could buy all I wanted for $80. I could have bought a tractor trailer fill for $80 if I wanted to. I wouldn't have been able to sell it. The depth of the market wasn't there. You mentioned you buy Ascended, it's set, like that wasn't a thing. The live streams weren't a thing. The Fanatics Live, all the consignment operations, these all weren't things. The liquidity is functionally infinite for the individual in today's market, and that cannot be understated. I truly think someone started today. I don't care if you start with the same $5,000 I started with 12 years ago. I don't care if you start with 50 grand, $500, whatever amount you start with, it is easier to get to any threshold you want to set. Your first 50K GMV, your first 50K net. It is easier to do everything in every regard than it was 12 years ago. And I will like die on that hill. So some people don't fully agree, and maybe there's minor aspects that are slightly more difficult. But the market's so much bigger. It's almost universally easier across the board, in my opinion.
I respect that 100%, man. You know something I liked about Retrospecs? It seems like everything he does is super scalable. So, for example, I buy Japanese. and I try to sell it. It doesn't sell that well, but hey, check it out. Did you just book us in there? Right? It doesn't sell that well. See, and then I noticed with Retro, instead of him being the one who deals with the Japanese and ships it and stuff, he'll like, is it consult or ribbon, not ribbon ship, drop ship kind
Drop
of?
ships basically. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he'll find 5, 10 businesses that maybe, hey, you know what? I can offer this service to you. I just need a little percentage and won't ever handle it. And then tell whoever his supplier is or whatever, hey, ship it to these people. And that's so much more scalable and faster. And then I'm over here buying a case, or I'm buying 2 cases. And then I got a package and I got to go to UPS, and everything he puts his hand on is very fast moving, very scalable. And I'm like, man, he's really on to a lot of really good ideas.
Yeah, and one thing I always say is like identify and find your strengths and then lean into them. He has very good relationships with. I almost think he has like a cousin or something in Japan. So he has a good connection in Japan, and then he's also I think he has one that he's like known for a while that he goes back with, and then he's created others too, like similar to Brian. I don't think Brian like knows anybody in Japan, but he's found and created relationships, and then leverage them, lean into them, and it's a win-win because it's like Retro's making his margin, the business that he's buying from in Japan is making their margin, the live streamer that he's selling to is making their margin. I actually just recently bought from Retro. They did a reprint on the Fukuoka, Hiroshima, and the other Pikachu boxes. You familiar with those, the promo boxes?
One of them I am. Is it the rectangle ones? Those really expensive ones?
They look like the ponchos almost, but yeah, he sells batches of 5 of them for like $800, so like $160 a box, and all you get is like you get a Pikachu promo. It's like a reverse holo Pikachu promo or whatever. But I recently bought a bunch from him, and it's great for him because I send him the money, he keeps some percentage, sends the remainder of the money to his supplier in Japan, and it's great for me because like I don't have the connections in Japan. And I'm going to grade some and make margin. I'm going to set some back, invest in them, eventually sell them for a profit someday, hopefully. So it's great to be able to make money when others make money, especially when it's not using your capital. I do consignments. So like I have a good relationship with Fanatics. So Retro has a good relationship with people in Japan. He leverages that. He offers it as a service to other people, and it's not capital intensive, and it's very scalable, because he can make money when others are making money. That's just like my consignment service. So consignment is great because it's not my capital. I have a great relationship with Fanatics. I can get competitive dealer rates offered to me because of my volume that I give to Fanatics, because I've known Fanatics for years. And you can actually sell through me, my Fanatics. You can net out more money. You're not doing anything. And I mean, the way that Fanatics is set up, they're doing most of it themselves. So I'm not doing that much either. I'm just facilitating it. I'm putting a little bit of an extra spotlight on it. And it's a win-win. You're paying less than if you work with them directly. I'm earning a little bit of a percentage. Fanatics is earning a percentage. And then the buyer is paying whatever they're happy to buy because it's just an auction. So creating win-wins where you can be like a service provider to another business. Very, very lucrative space.
I like that.
If you can find a place to carve out, for sure.
So you mentioned consignment, and I'd love to hear more about that. But before that, I'm curious, what direction would you like Ketchumallcollectibles to be? Because I think you were streaming today and you mentioned about like you're kind of on the beginning of retirement or something like that. What direction would you like to be? Would it be rip and chip? Would it be just facilitating all these employees, or is it always going to be a mixture of everything?
I like doing a little bit of everything. I think some people say like jack of all trades, master of none, as if it's like a putting someone down in some ways, as if it's a negative thing. I've always liked to be in a lot of different things, diversity-wise too, diversification-wise. Years ago, I used to be on Troll and Toad Evo. Some people that have been around for a while might be familiar with what that was. eBay Vault. There are certain aspects of my former business that like just got taken away from me. At any given time, Fanatics Live could just cease to be a thing someday. eBay Live could cease to be a thing someday. So I like having like multiple arms of my business. And the thing that you mentioned earlier is like, I see what I'm doing today as like phase 1 of retirement. Cause like my prior decade before going full-time Pokemon, I used to be an engineer for 50 hours a week and then do Pokemon on the side for like 30 hours a week, 20, 30 hours a week. So I was working like 70 to 80-hour weeks for a decade. And now I have kids. So these days, like when the kids are home, not at school, right now they're sleeping. So like it's fine to be live on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when the kids are home, on the weekend, when the kids are home over the summer, I want to hang out with the kids. I want to do as much as I can do to like, I have to keep the consignments going. I have to keep the live streamers fed. But I'm probably averaging 45-hour weeks, 50-hour weeks these days. So like that's a distinct drop from my former 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. And I think for the next decade, while my kids are in school, this is kind of going to be the norm. Once they go to college, I might actually slightly step up again, depending on what my wife is doing. If my wife decides to early retire by then, maybe I take another step back. But yeah, I'm kind of like ebbing and flowing with the familial situation and with the market as well. If and when the market were to drop a ton, if and when the market were to get a fair bit darker, my sourcing would become easier for the live streams. And I would probably like start working 30 hours a week as opposed to 45, 50 hours a week. But right now, it's too costly to not be working 45 hours a week because we're really booming. And the hourly wage that I'm commanding right now in this current market is I might like I think there's a high likelihood that in 5 years I'll be making half as much as I am today on a per hour basis. I could be wrong. Maybe we're early. Maybe this is the beginning of like a multi-decade bull run and like everyone thinks it is. Maybe products never go below MSRP again, but they absolutely could. And I very much am aware that like I might be working a few years from now for half the rate that I'm working for today.
That's probably still better than a doctor.
If I took a 50% pay cut, if this is crazy to say, if I could guarantee 10 years from today that I'm only dropping a 50% pay cut, if I could like lock that in, final answer right now, I would probably like lock that in. If I could secure a 50% pay cut for forever, I would be thrilled. Like we're booming right now. We are booming right now. It is in when I quit my job, I quit my job to make more money than I was making as a chemical engineer. Like I was making more on the side in 20, 30 hours a week in Pokemon. I was making more on the side in Pokemon than being an engineer. And I'm making multiples now of what I was making back when I quit my job. Like it's like I've said it a million times. I feel like some people know what I'm saying. Some people don't know what I'm saying. The extent to which we're booming cannot be understated. And some people think this is normal. Some people think this is forever. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe this is forever. Maybe this year, I'll look back in 20 years and I'll say 2026 was like the least I've ever made in the past 20 years.
Can you imagine?
I don't think that will be the case. I give a 95%, I give a 99% chance that at some point in the next 20 years, I make a lot less than I'm making this year, giving the same amount of input.
I want to preach something to you. Or no, present something to you. All right, this next set. Okay, we know Perfect Order is not great. Okay, maybe the next set's not so great. Then we start getting the 30th hype. Like it hasn't even started yet, really. You know, because we got like the Pikachu little coin and whatever. We got the first partner. That's cute. That's cool. But then we get the 30th anniversary hype. It's amazing. It carries us through October, through, I don't know, December, January. Then we get Gen 10. And in this crazy fantasy, Gen 10 is well received. And the game comes out and it's incredible.
There, so it's got to be good.
You know what I mean? And the game comes out and it's so good. And now it's like Pokemon Go was, what year was that? 2017? Everybody's playing the new 2016. Yep. Everybody's playing it. I remember those days. That was fun. And it's just this huge, long cycle. What do you think the probability of all those things happening?
I don't know. It's funny because like I just bought a big collection recently, and within it had like 9 mythical pin collections. Are you familiar with what those were?
No.
Back in Generations, 2016 actually. It was the year that Pokemon Go came out. And the year that Pokemon Go came out, I was there. I had distro. And the mythical Mew pin collection, I want to say I paid $8.15 per unit for my distro. Retail was $14.99. I paid $8.15 per unit. It came with 2 Generations booster packs. Generations booster packs were at the time when Mew dropped, it was hype. It was expensive. Everyone was into it. Latest greatest set. It had Charizards. It had everything. The 20th anniversary. Pokemon Go had just come out or was just about to come out. We were on top of the world. And then the Celebi one came out, and then the Jirachi one came out, and then the Meloetta and then the Volcanion, and then and you know what? They were everywhere, and they were $8.15 wholesale. You couldn't sell them for $11.99 shipped on eBay, losing money. It's a different world and live. I get it. I get all those things. It is different, but like I think there's some percent chance that we're pricing in a lot of optimism into the 30th. Yeah. And I think there's a chance where the 30th is great, but we build it up in our heads to be bigger, and it might just not pan out. It might not pan out to be, and people will say, Dan, well, talk versus walk. You're buying 1,000 of these things. You must be bullish. I'm buying 1,000 of these things, knowing that worst case, I only lose 30 grand or something, but best case, like I might hit some pristines. I might hit some black labels, and I might profit 50 or 100 grand on that play if it goes right. So like the asymmetrical odds on that thing, like the asymmetrical upside of that play. And if and when I say this, if I buy 1,000 of these at $47.50 and they go to 20, like I know they can go to 20 because I got them wholesale for $9. They can definitely go to 20. They can go to 15 if things get really dark. But if and when they do, I'm gonna buy a lot of them. And smart. Short plastic, long cardboard. The thing that I say always too, I truly love this stuff. I truly believe in this stuff. If and when it does go in a low, dark periods, dark times, I'm gonna plan to buy a lot of it, and I'm gonna kind of plan to sit back, enjoy life, and someday I think it'll come back around. It has every time in the past. That doesn't mean it has to every time in the future, but I'm optimistic that it will. I'm 35. I was the target demo when it came out. I was in 5th grade playing Pokemon Yellow on my Kiwi Game Boy Color. All those memories, all that nostalgia. My son today playing Scarlet and Violet. My son today seeing Gekwa and Pombon and Brow, and he's going to play and engage with those. And my wife's a teacher, and all of her students engaging in those things. Every year I send her with a bunch of the empty lunchbox tins, and all my wife's students are gonna have all these stickers, and I'm doing my part to they get packs too, but not a crazy amount of them because they're expensive. But
wait, Dan, you give them empty lunch boxes, brother?
Yeah. I get so many. Like my recycling can't fit them all, so I send the wife with all the extra stuff. Some of the parents love me, some of the parents hate me, but she has some like system in her class where they can like earn points. And they can pick like prizes. She has like candy, she has treats or whatever, snacks, and then she also has like a Pokemon thing. So I send her with packs, and I think I sent her with packs of Prismatic. It's funny because like in her thing there are certain Pokemon kids, but she literally has like a prize bowl. So there will be a prize bowl, and it's like there will be a Snickers bar, like a fun size Snickers bar that you could buy for 25 cents at the store, 50 cents at the store. Some kids will choose a Snicker bar over a $13 pack, $12 pack of Prismatic. It's crazy.
Well, they don't know.
They don't know, but then some of them, their classmates are like, "What is wrong with you? What's going on?" Like you could literally just get the Prismatic and sell it to me for $5 or $10 and buy a 20 Snickers bars or whatever.
My first pack of Prismatic was at this taco place that we go to in upstate New York, and I paid $19 for it because it was so hard to find. Wow. And we were ordering tacos, and he had Prismatic, and I was like, my kid's like, "Can we get it?" And I was like, "Oh man, $19." We were watching it on the iPad or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." We didn't get anything, but I was like, "Damn, they got me."
Yeah, 19. That's a lot. That buys like a dinner for the family for tacos. I mean, you can get tacos for everyone.
But then I was hooked. I was like, "Well, wait, we could really pull this Umbreon off. We could really do this."
You know what? A taco can't turn into $5,000, but a pack of Prismatic sure can.
Salesman. You ever been a
Uh,
salesman?
I mean, technically, I'm a salesman today, right? I
Yeah.
sell the
Okay.
consigning service. I sell but I've never formally been a salesman like outside of my current job.
That's fair.
But everyone to some extent. I mean, when I was a chemical engineer, to some extent, I was a salesman. When I was in my interview trying to get the chemical engineering job, I had to sell myself, right? I had to sell myself, and
Yeah.
I had to sell myself in my performance reviews every year, trying to get those raises. And everyone to some extent is a salesman, no matter what you do.
Okay. I'm gonna turn it over a different direction. If
Yeah.
you could only have one Pokemon YouTuber to watch, who would it be and why?
Oh man.
The app is deleted, but this person.
Can I only watch their new upcoming videos, or can I go back through the whole catalog?
You can keep it all and they're new coming.
It would probably be like Rudy. I
Okay,
love
fair.
Rudy's. I love like his personality, and he's funny. Some of his memes and stuff that he's got going on, but some of his best videos. Go back, sort by old, and we were talking about this earlier today. His credit card warrior ones where he's got the thing across his thing, with all the credit cards on it. The ones where he's got his visor, the Wall Street Rudy. He's got his pink visor and he's got the whiteboard. And I would go back, and a lot of those like more finance, more life-based things.
Yeah.
It would probably be Rudy for the entertainment value. It's funny because it's like it's a magic channel, but for a
Right.
bit of Pokemon, talks about One Piece, talks about all different kinds of things. The MetaZoo season that he had, like there's a lot of history, there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of sheer volume too. So part of it's cheating. There's a lot of great channels these days, but like this is nothing against you, but like
Of course.
just given that you gave me access to the back catalog, like I'm gonna pick Rudy over somebody that's only a year old
Of
just
course.
because I'm cheating and I'm getting 10 times the content, right?
Oh, super valid. Mm.
But if I answer it the other way, if I could only engage with the new stuff, I think that's an interesting way to answer it too. And let me think about that for a second. Who would you pick and why? And I'm gonna think about who I would pick for current, future only.
It would have been Rudy, but I'm not gonna go with that because you went with that.
Okay.
Ooh, modern. Who gives me the most content to watch? You're up there. You definitely make a lot of content. But I think Nostalgianomics probably makes the most. And I am a very needy person. Anytime I'm doing dude, I consume so much content, but I don't watch it. You know what I mean? I'm not like sitting there watching everything I do in life, dude, whether it's brushing my teeth, whether it's taking a bath, whether shower, at work, I always have YouTube and I'm always listening. I need as much content as I can possibly get. I probably pick Nostalgianomics just because he makes daily videos. He does like 2 or 3 streams a day and give me something to do. I don't watch Netflix. I'm a weird person for sure. Like a lot of people like going out drinking and doing all these other things for fun. For me, like I like learning and like figuring out new ways to make money. That's really interesting for me. Very fascinating.
I think you specified it had to be like in the Pokemon space and the card space, right?
Yeah.
For YouTube. Yeah. Like I to be honest, like if I could only engage with new stuff, I'd worry. I'd be very scared of who to pick because I'd be worried that I'd pick someone for you. Like I'm kind of needy. I want a lot of PokeTube content. If I could only pick one for their future stuff, I don't know who I'd pick because I'd be worried that I'd pick someone that would like not
Dan on
continue
a
making
fence.
content. Yeah,
You gotta pick
I'd
one of your
almost still
friends,
pick
Dan.
Rudy. I kind of want to see the end of Rudy's story. I think Rudy's probably only got 5 more years on YouTube, but it'll be fascinating to see if and when and how he leaves. So I guess I asked the question in a different way, and I still ended up picking the same answer. Which what I almost thought like I was gonna say like a TCA Gaming. I love Rusty. He's been around for so long, but he's been inconsistent with the content over the years, and sometimes he'll go and he'll do a couple of weeks for a long time, and he'll do live streams, and then he'll go back into like more family mode and not doing as much. So I would fear picking a guy like him because he could just retire from the YouTube space in like 6 months or a year or something. But yeah, I don't know.
You just go Rudy then. Good
Rudy
choice.
would probably be the play, but like honorable mention would be like a Rusty or someone because Rusty's one of my like Mount Rushmore of the hobby. I've been engaging with his content for the longest. And he'll make a video and he'll just open up some of the new product. He'll make a video and he'll be like, hey, I've got $2 million in my collection that I'm going to show you. He'll make a video and he'll be like, oh, hey, I'm opening this case of Evolving Skies and sending it to be graded. And I'm grading this base set booster box. And like booster box grading, it's crazy that like a lot of people don't know who TCA Gaming is. But Rusty made a video about a month ago. He sent product out to be graded with a new company. Booster box grading is upon us. And I can't wait till he makes the follow-up video when his boxes come back from grading. I don't even know the scale. I don't know if they do comic book scale, 10, 9.8, 9.6, 9.4. I don't know if they're going to go BGS scale, 10, 9.59, PSA scale, 10, 9. I'm very intrigued to follow up on that. So I can't wait for the follow-up TCA Gaming video.
Now I'm going to ask you, I've heard you talk about that subject before. Is it because there's a lot of money to be made? Or do you think it's like good for the hobby and just interests you? Truthful.
So I think grading is good for businesses. I don't think grading is good for the end consumer. Well, it depends on how you engage with it. If you engage with it, like I like shiny cardboard, I like safe shiny cardboard in thick, rugged plastic. If you're engaging with it, like I just want my card protected, encapsulated, and I think it's fair and reasonable. But I've said it for a long time: short plastic, long cardboard. I think the market is irrational around some of the premiums that we give the graded cards. You'll look at a card, and it's like the raw card is $100, and grading is $30, and they've got a 80% 10 rate, and then somehow the graded card is like $250. Like there's this semi-massive premium on certain cards that aren't even that hard to grade, and I just think it's going to age poorly. I could be wrong. Everyone who invests in high graded cards, and they could age extremely well. So far they have. I mean, I said this a few years ago when the Moonbreon PSA 10 was 1,000. I said I'm not buying and holding and investing and speculating in Moonbreon PSA 10s. I said I think that $1,000 PSA 10 Moonbreon is going to go down. And you know what it's done? It's tripled. But again, the whole thing, like I would have bought this instead, and most of the things I bought instead are up more than that were. But then look at the Gray Felt Hat. When like certain things have significantly outperformed what I'm doing personally. Grading is a lot more volatile. So do I think like the grading companies are inherently bad? No. Do I think they provide a valid service? Yes. I think a third party opinion, unbiased theoretically, whether or not they're fully unbiased. If you want to go like deep down that rabbit hole, we could, but we don't have to either. But I think what they provide is a reasonable service. I just think we as a hobby, as a community, I think we put unreasonable premiums on what they're actually providing due to their inconsistency, due to their volatility in assigning grades and actually backing up their financial guarantee and all the different dramas that go on in the space around them.
Very well said, man. You know, for me, I like grading because I come from like the comic book world. I've been collecting comic books, God, man, since I was like 8 or 9, and I never really stopped my entire life. I was even a vendor for comic books. I had a very small, short-lived YouTube channel just because it wasn't big enough. Like comic books pretty small, especially compared to like Pokemon. I did it for like a year and a half. Anyways, it's so beneficial in the comic book world because, you know, there's what, 30 pages, 25 pages, and somebody can restore it, right? So like if the ink's coming off a little bit, just a little touch, and you can't see that when there's 25 pages. So I grew up with graded cards for security, you know, and I don't think it's that big of a deal in Pokemon. Like, I don't know, maybe there's tons of people scamming at shows and stuff, and they're just lightly getting some blue and just, you know, taking some of that whitening away. But for me, I'm just so used to grading just being part of my daily life. So I guess for me, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, like the whole Kurtz Card Care and all these different products that people are putting on and the companies can't detect it. And that's all kind of scary conversations. But me personally, I've always seen grading as a tool to increase the liquidity of my product. I don't want to sell a ton of raw cards and have condition issues and this and that.
Yeah.
You said near mint. It's this. So I love the third party unbiased opinion. Upcharges, are they truly unbiased? Yeah, there's conversations to be had there. But I've always graded. I always will grade because it's very lucrative. I think it's more lucrative than it should be because people just like wholesale overvalue it across the board. That's my opinion.
Yes.
Again, a lot of people buying slabs over the past 12 years that I've been here thinking they were overvalued. A lot of people buying slabs have done very well for themselves. And will they always? I don't know. I'll be here finding out alongside you guys. Remains to be seen.
You know what else is interesting too, for me at least? So CGC is number one over there in the comic book world. Like over here, maybe used for like rip chippers and stuff a little more. I think definitely PSA is the bigger name. But CGC for comic books offers a lot of, maybe not restoration services, but a lot of different services. So
Pressing.
like pressing. If anybody doesn't know, they offer that service at CGC. You can send your book into CGC. They will flatten it out to get you a better grade. There's also cleaning. So like they'll get the eraser for you. They'll do whatever they're doing. They'll literally, is that restoration? They say it isn't. I am so surprised that in Pokemon, that's not a thing. There's not some big company like, there's some ads on Instagram, and I've seen little things like these little bitty tools and you can flatten it out on your own. But I am shocked that there aren't like third-party offers from CGC or some other company, or just some guys get together and make a little warehouse and they build that company and like, we think we could get your grade up.
That does exist to some extent. That's like
really?
Kurt's Card Care. Kurt's Card Care basically.
Okay.
I've never owned the product. I don't use the product myself. I know Nat Turner has publicly said no use of chemicals. There was a whole thing like a year or a year and a half ago where in a live stream I pushed back and I'm like, well, the argument they'll make is like water is a chemical. Like water truly is a chemical. Spit, saliva is a chemical. So it's like you can't have this policy that doesn't make any sense, but they do. Like the policy is no chemicals, but licking your thumb and wiping off some dust, using a little bit of water with a microfiber to get off a fingerprint. They call that fine. It's very sketchy, and it is interesting how coins too. I have a coin background, never really got into comics, but coins, if you clean them improperly, there's dipping, you can dip a coin in chemicals to remove some of the surface issues, or there's like whizzing, they call it. You can basically like buff, you can polish a coin and remove, but if you dip or whiz your coin, you can lose a lot of value. But PCGS, who's owned by the same parent company as PSA, PCGS is the coin version of PSA, and then NGC is the coin version of they're the coin version of CGC. They both offer some form of restoration services, and it's like it's okay when they do it and you pay them and they charge a premium, but if you do it, you're not a professional, and we're gonna deem it as modified or whatever, and people frown upon that. So it's all kind of arbitrary. If everybody collectively in the hobby decided that like, oh hey, X, Y, and Z are fine, and the scary thing about it, I hate when the powers that be, them being PSA, when PSA publicly has a policy that you can't use certain products, that simultaneously they have no ability to police. They can't tell. Like,
yeah,
there are videos. If you want to go down a rabbit hole, again, I don't do this, but if you go down a rabbit hole, look up Pokemon card restoration. There are videos with 20,000, 50,000 views of people taking a scratched up Neo Genesis Lugia, cracking it out of a PSA case, PSA 6, PSA 7, cracking it out, putting all this on it, massaging it, taking it to the spa for the day, doing all these things, and then turning it into an 8. And like a 6 to an 8, a 7, like some of those cards, that's thousands of dollars. And PSA, CGC, BGS, they all have these policies. Oh, don't do XYZ. They can't detect XYZ. So the honest people who like follow the rules, they're not cheating, they're not breaking the rules, they're punished, because the people who will willingly break the rules, not getting caught, they're making a shit ton of money doing it. So it's like this really weird situation. That's part of my bearishness on third-party grading, is like they're setting rules in place that they can't even enforce, that they can't even follow. And what that's going to do in the future to consumer confidence, what's actively happening. And I know people who do this. I don't do this myself, but there's a lot of people that go out there and they buy PSA 8s and they buy PSA 9s and they buff them out and they clean them up and it's very lucrative. It is very lucrative to the people that do it. And look at the price of some of those PSA 8, PSA 9, low pop WotC cards, reverse holo cards from the mid era, gold stars. A lot of the brand, and it's funny too. It's funny. It's kind of sad. It's kind of weird. But like a lot of people, I don't want a 2 cert. I don't want a 4 cert. I don't want the old certs because like grading sucked and they weak 10s. And well, you know what? A lot of the 14 cert 10s, a lot of the 12 cert 10s, a lot of the ultra modern 10s, a lot of those cards are altered.
How dare you, Dan?
That's like a super deep. That's like deep. It's not even tinfoil hat. I know it's happening. PSA knows it's happening. They can't police it. They can't control it. I don't like that aspect of the hobby. Again, I don't engage in it. Right. But it is what it is. It isn't necessarily inherently good or bad. It's bad that there's rules that incompetent companies can't enforce, and then it's bad that there's people that are breaking those rules. But it's like they're theoretically the professionals, and they can't detect. So it's like I can't blame the individual for like engaging in capitalism, right? I mean that's well, and it's funny enough too, like not to get too deep into morality and legality and all those different things, but like it's not technically illegal. It's not technically illegal to put some wax on a Pokemon card and to break the terms of service of a grading company, right? I'm not advocating for this whatsoever, but it's not technically illegal. And I'm 35 years old. If you look back over the past 30 years that I've had some semblance of an idea of what's going on in the world, the amount of people that engage in very sketchy things, borderline moral, legal, all that stuff, oftentimes the reward is significantly more valuable than the potential theoretical punishment that may or may not ever come. Like the amount of white you go to a store and you rob a store and you get away with $300, you're going to jail. You do something that's like Tom Brady, Deflategate. He's got 7 rings on his finger. He was pushing the limits of the rules. He was kind of, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right? In sports, over my past 35 years, I've kind of been taught by society at large that like pushing the limits of morality and law and like all that stuff, like those people are often rewarded. The Houston Astros, they won a World Series banging trash cans and stealing calls and like it's right. I don't love it. It doesn't feel good. It's not warm and fuzzy to talk about it, but that's kind of the world that we live in. So can I fault people that are making a 6-figure income, cracking out cards and polishing them up a little bit and regrading them, and the company can't even sense it, and the market loves it. The market eats it up. Oh, 2 cert 10s? Yeah, well, you know what? Some of the 12 cert 10s, some of the 14 cert 10s, they used to be 2 cert 9s. A savvy person bought a 2 cert 9, dialed it up a little bit. They put lipstick on that pig, and now it's a 14 cert 10. That it's funny that I'm saying this here for the first time ever. I've had this in the catalog. I've had this in the chamber for a future video on my channel. I felt a little bit scared to make it, to be honest. So 2 hours and 12 minutes into a video, into a live stream, you're getting something that like I fear making that video because it's gonna ruffle feathers and it's gonna rile people up. But that's actively happening as we speak.
You're gonna get some DMs like, Dan, shut up, Dan.
Dan, lay off.
You just took my livelihood, Dan. What the heck? There's some new YouTuber I've been watching, and I can't think of his name, but if you type in on YouTube, like 22-year-old buys $300,000 worth of Pokemon. Not sure if these things have been popping up for you.
I haven't seen that. He's
literally 22, bro. And I just watched him spend $300,000 at Collecticon. And then a week later, he had a new video at a new Collecticon, 400,000. And it's mind blowing and it's impressive. Like no hate at all. Like love it, dude. I wish I was doing stuff like that when I was 22. I was out in Korea partying, which was great. Don't regret it. But I'm like, man, there are some big, rich, young kids, man. And I guess what's crazy is they buy from 90 to like 93 or 94%.
Uh-huh.
Big cards, man. I mean, to spend 300-400 grand in a weekend, and I guess they do it on their whatnot and whatever, and they're just going. I'm just like, wow, man. I could never envision being 22 years old spending that kind of cash on Pokemon.
Yeah, that goes back to the whole same arena, different games, different rules. Like I don't want to assume anything about the background. I don't know the background, but like yeah, at 22, that was not feasible for me for many reasons. And we talked about earlier, luck versus skill, and I don't think I fully expanded on it either. But like one way that I was lucky is that I was born at the right time. I was born in 1990. I was born like at the right age to be the right amount of years old to where I engaged with Pokemon Yellow. And like if I was born 10 years sooner, I might have been too old and too cool. If I was
Yeah.
born 10 years later, I might have been too young and Pokemon was in a down period then. And plus, like I was born in the United States. I could have been born in some third world, not free country. Like I could have I could have had some sickness and not even made it to 35 years old. So in many ways, like very, very lucky. The genetic lottery, the time lottery, being born at the right time, right place. So there's a lot of luck that goes into it. But I guess relative to the 22-year-old today, again, I don't want to make any assumptions or anything. But one way that I like guaranteed, I'm less lucky than him in that when I was 22, it was 2012. I guarantee that in 2012, no one was spending 400 grand at a show in a weekend because multiple things. Collecticon didn't exist,
Yep.
whatnot didn't exist, and there weren't cards that were 10 grand and 20 grand and 30 grand. So like I don't know anything about that kid, but like he's luckier than me in that at 22 years old, the market exists for him to do that. When I was 22, that market didn't exist, right? I maybe I could have done that in something else, but like I certainly couldn't have done it in Pokemon cards.
So maybe that strengthens your argument that it's easier now than ever.
Absolutely. Like again, if he was born 10 years prior or whatever, like he wouldn't have. I guarantee he wouldn't have been doing what he's doing today. Not for any lack of his hustle, his drive. Like again, I've never engaged with this content. I don't know who this individual is,
Right.
but certainly he has some amount of resources. He has some amount of resources that not everyone's gonna have, but he probably has a lot of drive and a lot of hustle too. And I hate when people do that too. Like I hate when people say, "Oh, that person has all these things that I don't have, so I can't do it, so I'm not gonna try." It's like, well, there's a lot of room between like 400K a weekend at a Collecticon and like there's a lot of room between zero and that still can be a lot of fun and a lot of like potential profit and good business for you to do. So it's like just because you can't do that, don't not do anything. Like still do something, right? Like so some people see things like that as very, oh well, he has X, Y, and Z, and I don't have that, and I can't do that, so I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna take the ball and go home, right? I would take it more as like inspirational. Like theoretically,
Yes.
that is the level to which you can do business in the space. Maybe you can't do that now. Put in 5 years. Put in thousands of hours. You might be doing that in 5 years. It's crazy the opportunity. Because 12 years ago when you started, I started with 5 grand and I put in 20,000 hours over the past 12 years, approximately 15 to 20,000 hours. And I'm where I'm at today. Someone putting in 5 grand and 15 to 20,000 hours, I guarantee in the next 12 years. If somebody puts in 5 grand and 2,000 hours in the next year, they can be doing more than I'm doing today already. I'm very confident in that.
Wow, man. It's crazy because my kid's 9. He's about to be 10. Birthday next week. And I showed him that video. And I was like, not saying you have to go this route. I don't want to tell you what to do with your future. But you're about to be 10, dude. And his collection's worth like 6 grand, which is crazy, bro. Crazy. Yeah. And I'm not giving my kid 6 grand of stuff. I gave him we went to get the Charizard and he traded up to it. For like, just traded out, and it was like 250 when he got the Charizard from 151. Now it's worth like 2K. It got a 10. And like a lot of the stuff we were just buying, having fun, and just collecting and graded ourselves. He's got over 5K at 9, man. And I'm like, crazy. Look, this could, if you want that route, this could be your future, man. This kid's 22. You got 12 years on him. You got 12
Yeah.
years on the kid. This could be you, man. You could be that guy spending, stupid money by the time you're 20 if you wanted it.
And if and when he wants to go that route, like if he's 10 now, by the time he's 20, presumably like continuing to engage with you in the space, and he might have a $50,000 collection in 10 years. He might have a $100,000 collection in 10 years. And if he chooses to go that route, like I started in 2014 at 24 years old with $5,000. He might start in 2036 at 20 years old with $100,000 seed money. He might be able to sell off, maybe not all of it, maybe he wants to keep some of it, the memories, whatever. But he might be able to sell half his collection, have $50,000 cash to go start like doing business at a crazy level. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much more room, so much more liquidity to like for me 12 years ago to go and spend $5,000 and sell like to turn that money over was like a multi-month process. Today, you can go Saturday morning VIP to a Collecticon. You can turn $5,000 over 5 times in one day at a single Collecticon. Like a savvy person could take $5,000 with hustle, with knowledge, with experience. A savvy person could go into a Collecticon and leave in the same day with like $7,000 or something. Like they can make, I've seen people do it. I've seen people go, oh, this booth has a hot buy list for Charizard celebrations at 120 a copy. And they go around and they hustle there. They're buying them at 110 here and 100 there and 105 there. And they're trading. And I've seen people on the floor in a single day in Collecticon make like 1,000 and not doing like trade up challenge, trade a paper clip for this. Like I've seen people just like hustle and grind and work their way up to like making $1,000 on the floor in a day at a Collecticon. That was not a thing when I started 12 years ago. That is a thing today. Absolutely.
Crazy, man. So I've been vending. I started vending December of last year. My friend convinced me. I'm not going to continue it, but it was fun. It was nice. I think it's not really worth my time personally to sit there and invest all the time pricing all the cards. I just make way more money just selling stuff online. That being said, I've been vending some big shows like 703, one of the biggest ones in Virginia. And I'm so impressed by some of these teenagers, bro, from like, I don't know, 13 to 15. Sometimes they're rude though. They'll come up to me with like a $3,000 card. He goes, what do you got for it? Talks to me like he's a man. Like, I'm like, hey, how long have you been doing this? He's like, what do you got? And I'm like, oh, let me look it up. He goes, 2K? And I'm like, 2K? How old are you, bro? He's like, 14. Do you want it? No? Next booth. He goes, next booth. Sharks, bro. Some of these kids, and they're just little kids, bro. Sharks walking around with cases of tens of thousands. And sometimes some of them are good kids and nice kids. And they'll talk to me. I'm like, how'd you start? They're like, oh, I just started with a small collection. Just got into it. Watch YouTube, watch Instagram, watch this stuff. And I'm like, wow, man, some of these kids, man, are just so far up the ladder for their age. Like they got to be top 1% of the net worth. It's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. We are booming. We are definitely booming. It's crazy out here.
Let's take some questions from the chat, man. Let's take some questions. What do you guys got for Dan, man? Don't ask me. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
I see Fighting Aurora says, anyone paying 90% unsealed? I'm paying 90%. I'm paying over 90%. If you've got the sealed first partner collections, it came with this, and it came with a Phantasmal Flames pack and a Mega Evolution pack. I'm paying like 92% of market on those, I believe, per TCG player price today. So
including
yeah,
shipping or
that's like landed price to me. Okay. So shipping would be your part. The way that I do it, since I'm out there, since I have a name and a brand, and I'm not going to scam anyone, I either do like, I'll pay PayPal goods and services up front if they want it, but like I'm not adding the fees. They're taking that out of their end. And the prices are always landed prices to my PO box. And most people opt for sending first, add signature. My business insurance fully covers it. And then once it lands, I PayPal, I Zelle, I ACH, I wire, whatever's needed.
I lose a lot of collections because of the 2 to 3% of shipping, like a lot. Like there's some things I like to pay 80%, but people don't really want to sell for 80%. So I'll be like, okay, I'll do 85 shipped, and they're like, oh no. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm not gonna pay 87. It comes to like 87 probably, and they're like, nah. I lose a lot because I think it's a lot of people who just not, I don't want to say intelligent, but like you're really walking away from this for 2%? Okay, all right.
At the end of the day, like you have to set your metric, and they have to set their threshold as well. And
Yeah.
I never try to like. I always tell people it's like this is my number. I have so many things out at all times. So like right now, as I'm speaking, I have like 3 deals that I'm working on. Some of them will close, some of them won't close, but like 6-figure deals individually. Each one are 6-figure
Nice.
deals. So I put my number out there, and it's occasionally if they've got the goods and I want the goods, occasionally I've gone up a little bit, but usually it's very, very firm. And I never take it to heart. It's like I don't need any of this stuff. To me, it's all business inventory, and it's just a means to operate the business. And but if and when if I am offering a certain percentage on a certain item and I just can't get any of them, like what it sounds like too, if you're offering 85% across the board, and if you go a 2-month dry spell where you literally buy nothing, at some point you'll probably reevaluate, and you might start going 86, 87, 88 until you start getting something, right? But everyone should always be constantly reevaluating their inflows and their outflows, and find the perfect number for you. For some people, they have a bigger network, they have a bigger reach. Some people can pay as low as 80% across the board, and they'll always spend all their money. They won't be able to keep up buying at 80%. Some people have to go up to 85. Me, I'm usually between 75 and 90%, depending on what it is and depending on what I'm after. If it's loose obsidian flames packs, I can probably pay 70 to 75%. There's not too many people paying 85% on that. Yeah. But if it's sword shield cases, if it's these right now, sometimes I'm going 90, slightly over 90% as well.
I respect that, man. 100%. I have slowed down buying ancillary products. Like I would get definitely my first, like, I mean, I've only been doing this 6 months, but like my first 2 or 3 months, I'm like, yeah, I'll give you 80%, the whole collection. And I would end up getting a whole bunch of Journey Together, which some of it I still have, by the way. You know, you get a bunch of like 3-pack, 2-pack of this, some Twilight with some Obsidian, and it sits for months and months. I honestly say no to probably 9 out of 10 collections now, because if people come to me with just ETBs and just booster boxes all day, every day, let's do the deal, 85%, let's do it. But it's never like that, right? They'll throw in one Evolving Skies. And so then when I was new, I mean, I'm still new, but when I was super new, I was like, oh my God, Evolving Skies, I'll pay 40 for the whole thing. Let's do it. But I get blinded by like the top 4 items. And then you get stuck with just junk. That's most of the collections I'm offered is junk, ancillary.
And some of them are potentially savvy individuals that are doing that on purpose. Some of them, like years ago, I used to browse eBay and I used to buy collections, and I got good at sniffing out. So sometimes you'd have a binder, and it's like in the second photo, they'd intentionally frame in like a gold star as if it was there by chance. And there were people still do it today. There are people that intentionally sell binder collections on eBay at auction. 99% is trash. They won't put it in the first photo, because if they put it in the first photo, then it would feel more manufactured. But there are people that like they put it there. We're booming enough people are looking at auctions that people get baited in. And the part of the reason that I know this, I've bought some of those collections years ago, and it's like aside from that one card they intentionally slipped in there, the rest is just junk. Blurry photos from a distance. It almost looks like this, looks like that, and then it never is.
You're like, well, if they have that gold star, what else is in there that I'm not seeing? There's got to be a ton of gold in there.
And then just nothing.
Going fishing. All right, Krabby. I don't know if you watch. Do you ever watch Krabby? He makes some good content, man.
I'm familiar with Krabby's cards. I don't think I've watched any of the content, but I've seen him around chats and stuff.
Yeah, he's been grinding.
There's so much content out there. It's impossible. There's so much content out there.
He says, is modern sealed more liquid now, or singles and slabs?
I think they're both functionally infinitely liquid. At the right price, they're both functionally infinitely liquid. This is said by somebody who's doing $1 million a month as we speak. So like I'm doing $1 million a month in and out, and you got to be reasonable. You can't sell moderate played random singles and think that they're 100% infinitely liquid at 100% of market. But if you're talking like if you're talking something really new that's transacting all the time, even a set that I'm not a super fan of, if I want to sell 50 grand of this at 85 to 90%, I guarantee you I could get that sold before I go to bed tonight. Like the market is that big, the market is that deep, functionally infinite for anybody operating at or below my level is what I'll say. Slabs. Like there's a 22-year-old kid on YouTube apparently going to Collecticons buying slabs at 92%. Sure, 92 is not 100, but 100 is not 100. But one thing that people get really lost in, and I'm sure you get this too, 100% of market's not 100. Because like where 100% of market is set by is TCG Player and eBay. And when you sell on TCG Player or eBay, the seller's getting 100% minus fees, minus shipping. So it's like the baseline for 100% is like most sellers are actually getting 85%. Now with consignment being as big as it is today, consigned with me on Fanatics, consigned with ZNG Emporium, consigned with DC Sports, if you sell a high-end item, a couple grand or higher, you might be getting 95%. So sometimes the fee structure, like you can actually get 95% of an item relative to its 100% market value. But some people are just so unreasonable. It's like, oh no, like I don't want to take 85%. Like if you sell on eBay, you sell it for 100, you pay 13% fees, that's 87%. Now you ship it for $5, you're getting 82% selling for 100. So it's like, why don't you just sell for 85% and do less work? Do no work. It's an interesting conversation around that. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree? Like, if you've got the right stuff at the right price, functionally infinite liquidity.
I guess for my store, people don't come to me for singles and stuff, so obviously it wouldn't work well for me. But yeah, right price, everything, man. I've done like 7 shows already this year. Liquid, very liquid for the right price. Absolutely, man. But I think people that watch me probably are interested in sealed, but who knows? People that watch you might love singles for sure.
Yeah.
Next question. Pay cash through mail. I think he's responding to you, probably wire or something, right?
I send checks through mail. I don't think you're allowed to send large amounts of cash through the mail. You'd probably be in trouble. PayPal, friends and family, Zelle, ACH, wire, check. Never cash through mail though. But if you want to meet in person, if you want to come to me and meet somewhere near Syracuse, New York, and I've done cash deals for sure.
Yeah, there you go. What are your other questions, y'all? We all need to wake up.
Oh, Krabby wants to know what I'm doing with these. Probably half will be set back for the longer term. But when I say longer, it could be 6 months, it could be 6 years. And frankly, it'll probably be both. If I set 500 packs back for the long term, I'll probably sell 100 in a year, and then 100 a year later, and then 100 a year later, and then I'll slowly like drip them out. I'll slowly sell them down. That's kind of what I do. I try to buy a lot of something that I like, and then I just bleed it out over time. I would love, as crazy as it is to say, I would love to have some of these left in 15 years. I think they're going to be cool cards. I think they're going to age well, and not many. If I buy 1,000 tomorrow, I'm going to break down 500 immediately. In 15 years, I might have 20 of them left, and then I'll sell half of what I have remaining, and then I'll have 10 left, and I'll sell just slowly decaying down to zero. Hopefully, my cost basis 6 months in will be zero because of the grading plays. That's what I do a lot.
Playing with the house's money, huh?
That's what I try to do, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes it goes the other way, and my cost basis goes up.
Does that answer your question, Krabby? I think it did. Make sure I'm going to put the links for Dan's Instagram and YouTube. What's the best way people can reach out to you?
I'm everywhere. I'm full time, so like anytime, all the time. Discord, I probably engage in the most. Discord is literally, I have 3 monitors. I have 2 horizontal, 1 vertical. So Discord is always open on my vertical monitor. That's usually where I have YouTube too. Email, I probably check 4 times a day. I probably check like periodically throughout the day, but I always eventually get to them. Instagram is probably the worst. So like
really
Discord first. Yeah, I check it every day.
In the modern age.
Instagram's probably only twice a day. Email's probably 4 times a day. Discord's probably infinite times a day because it's literally always within my peripheral vision.
This boomer just said he checks his email twice as often as Instagram. That is crazy work.
Look at this hairline. I mean, I look like a guy who would check his email twice as often as his Instagram, right?
Well, thank you for the donation. The card economics. Is that how I say it?
Card economist.
Oh God, thank you. Thank you so much for that. That's why you're
Yep.
the engineer.
He's been around a while.
Shout out to you, man. Thank you for that donation. He didn't even say anything. The people really like you, man. They just throw money because they like you. I forgot what I was gonna say now. Here's a question for
He
you.
left a comment in chat. Pokemon's going to 0. I'm going to be putting the fries in the bag. That's the card economist who left the super chat.
Card economist. Well, thank you.
Oh man.
You have a question from Cloud. Dan, do you have any experience grading packs?
I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience grading packs, and I will preach extreme caution. So these aren't quite packs, but right off the screen here, I have they're kind of like packs, but they're graded sealed promos. And if you look at the numbers, those are not the numbers that we like to see. That is a 7 and that is an 8.
Oh.
I graded like 50 sealed Mews because I bought 400 of them a while ago, and I graded 50, I think, and I got 1 9, and I got 1 6, and the rest were 7s and 8s, and I got no 10s. But years ago, I graded hundreds of packs. I graded anything with a Pikachu on it, anything with a Charizard on it. I graded base set Jungle Fossil packs, base set 2-pack, any WotC packs. I've graded all of them. And like, I think grading is kind of a joke overall, as far as like their repeatability, their lack of repeatability. With packs, it's even worse. I don't understand what a 10 is, what a 9 is. I've had 10s and 9s side by side, and it's like, I don't know what they're grading here. With cards, it's like, generally speaking, they're usually like directionally right. They're usually like, if you take 10 10s versus 10 9s, maybe the cleanest card maybe is a 9, and they just graded that one harshly one day. But on average, the 10s will be on average noticeably better than the 9s. The 9s will be more off center. The 9s will be more white dots. The 9s will be more hollow scratches, whatever. But if you cover the grade and you give me a pile of 20 graded packs and you make me classify what are the 10s and what are the 9s, I don't know. So good luck and Godspeed if you go for it. But I've dabbled from time to time, and most times I get beat up. But I still keep going back though, because when you hit the 10s, there's been times where I've done pack submissions of like 50 packs, and I get like 30 10s, and some of the premiums on those are juicy. So that's probably why he's looking at it. But be cautious, because you might get 58s.
Oh, I have a pack. I wonder if this would do well.
Let's see what he's got.
At shows, these sell pretty well, but on my store, they don't sell. Is this something you guys would consign? I have 6 of these. They're from 2008. Diamond and Pearl. Was it Stormfront? I don't know. Is that something that you think would consign decent, or?
So I only do consignment for graded. That I could only consign if it was graded. But that's a great pack. Like, if you grade it, from what I've seen, it's probably going to get an 8. It's probably going to get an 8, even if it looks super clean. But I would look to just sell that. I would look to sell that to somebody who does live streams, somebody who does rip and ships. I definitely periodically buy those. I'd probably buy that at 80-85% to just sell it on a live stream. But cool. It's scary. We've opened a lot of vintage packs. We've opened a lot of mid-era packs. For the first time, we opened a resealed Crystal Guardians on a stream relatively recently. Fully refunded the guy, and I'm going back up the chain, the guy that I bought it from, and may or may not get money back, whatever. But like, it is what it is. I mean, you do it on a large enough scale for a long enough time, it's inevitable at a long enough time frame. But it's tough with the old product. And then even if it's not resealed, it could be weighed, it could be like CT scanned, all these different things. So it's so tough.
Yeah, 2008, man. I graduated 2007. That's when these packs came out. That's like, yeah, the chances are. This would be a good question for you. $5,000 to start. Where to go? YouTube, sealed, buy, and vend?
Yes. I would go watch my video on Monday, and I would do everything. I would do a little bit of everything. I would, unless, like, again, nuance, gray area, on the fence. Everyone's at a different part in your journey. If you've already tried a little bit of everything, if you know that you have a big advantage, a big leg up somewhere, if you if you run a Discord with 10,000 people that like Pokemon, lean into that. Find a way to monetize that. If you if I mentioned it, I think it was in my video on Monday. If you have a brother that lives in Japan and you have access to Japanese product and you have an in, try to go the Poke-NE model. Try to go the Retrospecs model. Like, lean in anywhere potentially you have an advantage. If you don't have any, then do a little bit of discovery, do a little bit of exploration, and try to find out where you may have advantages, where you may excel, and then lean into those more. But throw everything at the wall and see what sticks is my thoughts.
Here's Dan's video. Make sure you guys check that out. And like I said, links for him on his YouTube and Instagram or below. Let's see.
Appreciate that.
Of course, man. Assuming 151 gets so iconic and expensive, one slab back becomes the collectible you can. Okay, I guess it's not a question, like a statement.
Yeah. I mean, 151 iconic set. It's I think it's gonna age very well over time. And if you were to 10 it again, like, will an 8 garner a premium? Maybe some amount of people will appreciate the authenticity. Again, historically speaking, I'm fairly bearish on grading card companies. There are videos from 10 years ago, people opening a PSA graded base first edition booster pack, and the pack was resealed. So, like, even though it's authenticated, even though it's slabbed, even though the experts have verified that it's authentic, that doesn't mean it's always authentic. They're not perfect. Law of large numbers. Like, some amount are going to get through. But yeah, like, a PSA 9 151 pack right now is listed for $75 on eBay. Grading packs is expensive. It's like $40. It's like $40 or $50. So if you grade a 9, you're losing money. I see a 10 right now. ZNG Emporium's actually auctioning it. I see a 10 listed for $240. I see a couple 10s at auction. If you're paying $40 or $50 to grade it, look at the 10 rate, look at the population report, look at the 10 rate. I think it's tough. And then a graded pack is not as liquid. The liquidity goes down. The price goes up, but the liquidity significantly diminishes. Yeah, I see the most recent sold on a pack is only $225. The pack is worth $25. The grading costs $50. Historically speaking, my 10 rate is quite low overall. I don't know if I could consistently get like a 25% 10 rate on packs. So that's pretty negative EV to try and grade packs for margin.
Sounds like buying perfect order right now. It just doesn't sound like it's worth it.
Yeah. That's one guy's thoughts.
Titan's asking you, collector investor question. They say not to buy the hype, but instead to buy strong stuff that people are doubting or not paying attention to. Any good set singles you think are undervalued?
One of the things that I most recently bought that I publicly talked about, I'm very transparent. I put a lot of things out there, but I don't put everything out there. So there's definitely like some obscure things. It would blow people's minds. I actually I was listening to a friend's podcast, multiple friends' podcasts, Squeaks, Radar, Thrifty, Cardinal Gaming. They have a podcast called the Off-Centered Podcast every Friday. And they were talking about, like, they're all people that were here for years. And they couldn't name anything that was down from 5 years ago. There are cards, even though we're booming, we're at the peak of a biggest boom that we've ever been in so far. Not to say it can't go higher. But there are cards in this boom that are still cheaper today than they were 5 years ago. And those are disproportionately some of the singles, some of the cards that I'm buying. One of the ones that I talked about 2 months ago, ironically, I bought one for like $3,000, a Burn Tower, PSA 10 Burn Tower. It's like a Japanese promo card. I bought it for like $3,000. The last sale 2 months later, it was like $6,500. So the card's already doubled.
Wow, good for you, man.
So the card's already doubled. But like another thing that I'm buying, and I know it's outside the wheelhouse of a lot of people. I'm not trying to pump my bags. I'm just disclosing a couple cards that I bought. But I bought Pikachu trophy cards. Like, the World Championship happens every year, and people get awarded these Pikachu trophy cards. There's only like 6 to 12 of them awarded a year, depending on the year. And 5 years ago, I had some, and I sold a number 2 trophy Pikachu card, a full art one, for $70,000 5 years ago. $70,000 5 years ago. What do you think I just bought one for last month?
120.
$35,000.
Oh, damn.
I bought it for half of what I sold it for 5 years ago. And there's 6 in the world awarded extra copies. If you get into the trophy scene, you'll know that there's like some amount of extra copies for all of them. But I bought it for half, like not the same card exactly,
Right.
but pretty much the same idea. It's a different year, but it's the same place. So 5 years ago, I sold a $70,000 card. And then I had all that capital. I had 70 grand to churn and burn in my business for 5 years. And then I bought the card back for 35 grand. Will that card go up? Will that card go down? I don't know. It's a risk. It's a gamble. The same way the Burn Tower was. But so far, the Burn Tower's doubled. Do I think that Pikachu trophy will double the 70K within the next year? There's a chance. Could it go much lower? I think the odds of it going significantly lower are pretty low. But I think the odds of it doubling over the next few years, maybe even potentially way more than doubling, I think there's decent odds on that. So that's one thing that I'm buying. But like, please do not blindly follow me. That could be a dark path to spend 35 grand. Oh, hey, this guy talked about I'm going to spend 35 grand. In 5 years, it could be 35 grand. It could be 20 grand for all I know. So as always, like, do not blindly follow. I know the risks that I'm taking.
Thank you, Dan. I got to go to bed. My kid's soccer game's in the morning, man.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Dan. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've been wanting to talk to you a long time.
We hung out at your place tonight sometime in the future. I know we've talked times and it hasn't worked out yet, but Poke Flips we do during the day. That's tough. I'll have to get you on my channel. I think it would be weird to go like back-to-back weeks. So let's commit to like not next week. That's too quick of a turnaround. At some point though, in a few months, we'll have to get you on my channel. By then, again, click that sub button, invest today in that sub button. You'll probably have passed me by then. You'll probably have passed me in subs by then.
In a couple months? No.
At some point before you pass me in subs, we'll have to have you on. But definitely sometime, maybe this summer. Maybe this summer when the beard's not here, so you can see the you can see. But yeah, thank you to everyone in chat. This was a great night, great live stream. Thank you for having me on. It's been a great chat.
Thank you, chat. We appreciate you. Bye.
Have a good night.